so early. Hi! Hello, 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 hello. We're back. We're returning to, I'm going to say this wrong, and I had someone even tell me how to pronounce it correctly, but EpiC? Yeah, that's how it's pronounced. It's time! Hello, hello. All right, we are starting with Mathis' story. I also kept the case in my hand just so I could show it off. I'm going to be flipping this. I usually don't flip these. An ad? How'd you get an ad? I don't have it to set to ads at the beginning. Do I? I thought I didn't. Oh, snap. I swore I didn't have pre-roll ads on, but I guess I do. I didn't even know. It just knows. It knows it's so good it's making everybody see ads. Oh no, I'm so sorry, guys. All right, well, we're here. I'm going to show off the box art really quick. Also, I'm a silly Billy, and I haven't even made thumbnails yet for after I end my streams. So I'll be working on those probably tonight. So this will have like a generic one tonight. That's the cover. So that's the main cover. All the boys on it. We are so high, Ray. We're flipping it to this side though, because look at my boy. My boy. Actually, I forgot to pull him down. He's actually up here right now. He needs to be front and center for this. It's his day. We're starting with Mathis though, if we get a choice. I don't know how this plays yet. I haven't done anything but in the game so far. Oh, heck yeah. What a cover. Like, they know. They knew the beginning. They knew that he was the one. He's the only one that matters. I went to bed as soon as I got home from my concert just so I could be ready for today. And my voice is still cracking. Oh my goodness. So I'm so excited. Like, dude, I'm so sad I couldn't start yesterday. I will have a poll on Discord. I was going to wait until we played a little bit to see how we want to do this. Because Sunday I can do a long stream. So I'm going to have a poll on if we want it to be Virche or if we want it to be 9 RIP. Because if it's 9 RIP, then we could possibly get through... I'm still sorry. I didn't even know. I didn't know I had pre-roll on. So I thought I didn't. I've never had anyone say they joined the chat and had like ads. That's so crazy. But thank you, Ray. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. But yes, this is what the opening scene looks like. We're going to talk a little bit before we get in because, like, what do all those things look like? Simple. Cute. Flow charts. Huh. Scene list. Oh. Virche du Salut en coup. Tradition Drifter. Virche de la Coda. Emotions. Yeah, this is all correct. Don't even question it. Side and Encore. Ooh-hoo-hoo! Are you planning on doing a 12-hour stream for Virche? I mean, I should, right? In honor of the game that gave me anxiety. I could possibly do it Sunday. I could probably possibly do 12 hours on Sunday. I'm off, and I have no intentions. Lucas, my homicidal love. I mean, for serial killers that locked me in a cage, I would say he's top of the list, but that's cheating because he's just really pretty. Oh, no, I meant to hit delete. Oh my gosh. There's not a I have to hit back here. Okay. You want to do this to me, guys? Man, I like this font. They let you have, like, there's 4 different fonts you can pick from. I don't know if this is affected by the font choice, but you'll see my font choice soon. Yeah, we were Leah last time. We'll be Leah again. Also, look at her. She's so cute. I'll be voting for Virche 12-hour stream on Sunday. It's like it's a 9-hour stream if it's the other one. Automate presents. Illustrator Yomi. Oh, that's pretty. Main scenario Saitomi. Oh, he's so cute. Eves. Lucas. Oh, look, he's got Mathis. Math. Aw, Fresh and Sheen. Oh my god. His hair got longer. Adolf. Anku! Oh, my sweet angel. Oh. Oh, Mom's back. Nadia, the hot, Capuchin, Drifter, Spinel. I remember that. I remember that. I remember that. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm going to have to lurk because metaphor stream. You're only lurking because it's Mathis. If it was Sheen, you would be here only. I know. Spinel is pretty hot too, not gonna lie. He looked really cute. There's no new love interest in this, right? Right? They didn't hint at any new love interest in this one. Okay. Story side interlude. Oh wait, how the heck do I even, what is this? Enjoy a variety of short stories. Enjoy stories derived from Virche Evermore era Salvation. Read the Salvation and Despair ending sequels. Oh, tradition. Drifter. Read the Drifter story and we cannot click on Anku. Interesting. Okay, okay. No, Spinel was someone else because it said the Drifter and then it said Spinel. It showed two people. Should we start at the beginning then? Is this not how I thought it was going to be? Should we do side story interlude? Or side end encore? Enjoy stories derived from Evermore. Enjoy Salvation and Despair endings. This is not what I was expecting. Interlude. Ah. Oh, images. There's an image here. There's no images here. Should I not even care? There's no image. Image. There's a few images. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Oh, she's a side character in the Drifter route. Gotcha, gotcha. Spinel is a female. I didn't even notice. I'm kind of broken when it comes to that. All right. Intro. This is not what I was expecting. There's a lot of different things in here. Side and encore. Encore. Oh gosh. Okay. Okay. There's so much. All right. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to side and encore because I already said we're doing Mathis. We're going to specifically do Mathis and side and encore. And then I have no clue how long this is going to take. And then if there's time after that, we'll start the other one for Mathis. And then if we do the 12-hour stream, then we'll start doing those other side stories. Does that sound fair? Does that make sense? I think that's the best option. This might make sense because we were already talking about how the heck did this continue. The land that has been touched by death. Also, I have a killer day drink, but because there's tea in here, timely it's lemonade and tea, but you can't read it. The land has succumbed to death.
死を繰り返し、終焉とともに生き続けることを選択した。
The other option is like AU stories, what ifs. I mean, that's the only way Anku gets a happy ending. Just to be real. My boy, he was ready to go. As the people could not resist death, they instead decided to repeat it, to live beside death for all eternity. To live
死に愛され、死に呪われたこの国を。
to live with the curse of death's love. Hiccups.
嘲笑うのははるかに昔、呪いを振りまき姿を消した死神か。
Was it death who mocked us with this curse eons ago only to disappear? Or
それとも
perhaps... Oh wait, is Spinel Eve's mom? Is that what's gonna happen? The Drifter and Spinel get together and... No wait, is Eve's... That's his great-grandfather. Is grandparents? Is that her grandmama? Or perhaps...
黒き災いの花、リコリスのワージュが四方を囲う国。
A Pachel
Arpeci.
country surrounded by the Lycoris Norigi, the black
生まれ
something.
た人間が23歳までに命を落とすこの国は、
Humans born here live no longer
か
than
つて外
23
界
years.
から
How
訪
dare
れた
you?
漂流者によってこう呼ばれるようになった。
The one known as a drifter who came to... They can't do this
死
to me.
神に見入られた国。
A land possessed by death. I can't read as fast as they're speaking and then switching to the next line. Side and Encore, Mathis Cloud.
兄さんを殺した殺人鬼。
Buro, the murderer who
Buro
killed my
が死に、
brother, was dead.
復讐という目的を失っていた僕に優しく接してくれたあなた。
Though I'd lost my purpose of revenging, you treated me with kindness.
まさかクロード家でメイドをするなんて思わなかっ
I
たけど、
never expected you to work as a maid for the Cloud
あなたと
family
過ごす
too.
時間は
The time I
とても
spent
穏や
with
かで、
you was peaceful and
幸せで、
happy.
この平穏を大切にしたいって思えるようになりました。
I began to realize I wanted to cherish
あ
that
なたの
peace.
おかげで
It's
す。
all because of you I found a new purpose born within me. I could finally look forward.
まさか書いていた小説を見られちゃうとは思いません
I
でしたけ
didn't
ど、
think you'd be interested in the manuscript I was
あなた
writing.
と一緒に小説の続きを考えていると、
Working with
新しい
you
構想が
on
た
the
くさん
rest
浮
of the
かんでくる
novel
んです。
inspired so many new ideas.
僕はもう取り戻せない過去よりも、あなたと共に過ごす
Living in the
今が
presence with you
一
gave
番
me
幸
the
せです。
more joy than chasing the past I
So,
lost. Time I
思ってい
spent
た
you
の
was the happiest in my life, or so I thought.
ブローは生きていた。
Bro was alive. Bro.
兄さんの仇が
Our peaceful story became stained with
目
revenge.
の前に。
The person who killed my brother was in sight.
あ、
Uh-huh.
僕の心が
My heart is being corrupted by vengeance.
黒い復讐心で塗りつぶされていく。
Chapter 3.
無垢な心に忍び寄るは、
Should I have replayed Virche before this? What am I? What crept into an innocent heart was a
名
man.
も心も肉体すらもない空想の男。
Was a man with no name, no heart, and no body, one conceived from a fantasy.
衝動のままに食らうのは憎き男の命か、それとも
Would impulse alone lead to the devouring of a life so despised, or perhaps... A few days had passed. The appearance of Barreau was reported immediately to the royal guard and the royal family, but they hadn't given any specific orders, so Adolphe and the others were frustrated, unable to take much action. I still remember the days I started watching your streams during the common routes, right? Oh man. Welcome, guys. That's how most of you found me. I appreciate you staying for a whole nother year. They have to announce a sequel so we can continue this every year. Actually, I saw that ring said something about like Virche end. Does that mean there's another Virche? As for me, the bandages wrapped around my head were slowly being removed.
念のためにと数日入院してもらった
Oh,
が
Capuchin.
頭の骨に異常はない
Remember when we didn't know any better? What did I do? That was weird. I didn't do anything. I just clicked on the screen and then it did that. Oh, I see. It's because I see what happened. Okay. My advice would be for you to stay a few more days, but at the very least, I can confirm your head and skull are sound. Dr. Creep.
退院しても構わないよ
Remember when we thought he was just
痛み
funny?
止めだけは出しておくから
We're just
我
like,
慢できない時に
I
飲む
like this
飲むように
doctor. He's funny. And we learned. You're free to leave. I'll prescribe some painkillers, so take them if you experience any headaches. Understood. Thank you very much for your time, doctor.
何これもかつて事件に協力したよしみさ
Come now, we've known each other since those incidents. He went on to say that I probably shouldn't see another doctor since the royal family hadn't publicly announced what happened. Wink. Dr. Capuchin continued to speak in a calm manner as he recalled the incident that threw the country into chaos.
それにしてもあの殺人鬼に殴られたというのにこの程度の
Be clear,
怪
I
我
wore
で
the
済むと
same
は
top during that stream. Not the first stream, but one of those streams too. Which this is my billowy dancing shirt top. Stay away from my child. Are you mother now? Oh, wait, you mean Nadia. I must say, I'm surprised you got away with only a bruise after being hit by that murderer.
運がいいのか悪いのかわからないな
I can't tell if you were lucky or not, to be honest. Nah, he just thinks I'm cute. It's fine. He was wrong. The reason why I'm still alive is because it wasn't Bro who struck me. Oh, wait, this is when Mathis lost his mind. Okay, flashback. Mathis. Mathis is like, I'm a happy boy and I have no memories beyond this point and everything is good and golden. Then Bro shows up while he's walking me home, if I recall. And then he just like starts convulsing and he's all like, this is the man. This is the man who killed my brother, who ruined my life. And then she's like, Mathis, you're losing your mind. Calm down, Mathis. Mathis, please. And she tries to hug him. And then Mathis is like, no. And he shoves her the F away. And she just falls and hits her head so bad. And he just bolts. And then they haven't seen Mathis for 3 days. And they think Mathis is in trouble. But he's not in trouble. He's just like on the lam, playing an assassin suddenly. I remember. I didn't remember clearly, but I had to understand my situation. Oh, she's gonna have a flashback, sorry. I just remembered for her. Mathis was intent on going after Barreau, so he struck me in the head, then disappeared. But it seemed like he hadn't returned to the Clyde family mansion at all. Yves and Adolphe seemed to have a hunch as to whom actually hit me. But I kept quiet on the matter, so they respected my silence and didn't say anything. I'm not angry or holding a grudge about being hit. His brother's killer, who we thought was dead, had returned. A sister was killed in front of her younger brother. I knew how Mathis felt about his brother and how he respected him, which was why I couldn't blame him for going mad with rage as he saw his own past through what happened. Still,
お前なんかに俺の復讐を邪魔する権利はないこの死神風情が
you don't have any right to get in my way of my revenge. Let me go, Death. But then he called me names, in which case, it's all hell now. And that's when he hit her on the head. I was very confused by how Mathis yelled and even looked like a different person. But I'm just notorious for
無事
ignoring
に
red
退院
flags.
されたのですね。大きな怪我がなかったようで安心しました。
I see you've left the hospital. I'm very relieved that you are as you are well.
我が主が本当に申し訳ありません。
That said, I am truly sorry for what the master has done. Well, he hasn't done anything in comparison to you, right, Jean? High five. What do you mean? I don't remember anything about what happened when I was hurt. I have no idea what you mean, Jean. Seeing me force out a smile, Jean quietly lowered his head. Besides, I'm actually more worried about you, Jean. You look pale. From the looks of it, you probably haven't slept in a long while. Perhaps you should get some rest.
なりません。坊ちゃんがいつ戻られるかわからない以上。
Remember when we first met him and went like, hot, why can't I date him? We learned. We learned quickly. Absolutely not. After all, I do not know when the master will be back.
俺はクロード家の執事としてあのお方の帰りを待っていなくては。
As the Cloud family butler, I must wait until the master returns. If that's the case, then let me keep watch while you get some rest.
そんな散々ご迷惑をおかけしているというのにそんなことまでさせるわけには。
Please, we've caused enough trouble to you already, so any more is simply too much. But at this rate, you're going to collapse before Mathis returns. Sheehan, imagine what would happen if Mathis saw you unconscious. You blame yourself enough for not being fit to be a butler, don't you? I haven't submitted my resignation, so I'm still your workmate and friend. If you need help, please, let me be your assistant. Of assistants, even.
本当に坊ちゃんは良いお友達を作られましたね。
The master has really found a wonderful friend indeed. Yeah,
ありがとう
that's
ございます。
me.
それではお言葉に甘えて少しだけ。
Thank you very much. If you don't mind, then I will accept your offer. And with that, Jean went to his room. I watched as Jean walked into his room, collapsed on the bed, and immediately fell asleep. I let out a quiet sigh. I told him he should rest, but I'm the one who brought misfortune to this place. To be honest, I was planning on leaving after checking on the situation here. I was so worried of the two of them that I ended up involving myself even more. This is a flashback. Is this a flashback? Should I be skipping right now? This feels deathly familiar still. When does this turn into an encore? Or am I just replaying this? Is this just replaying the first Virche? Is this like a literal encore? They're like, here's the greatest hits, guys. Wait, is this what that is? I was waiting for something different to happen. Mathis, where are you? Your old other brother is so worried about you. Hang on. I changed into my maid uniform and went around the mansion to see. Is this the same? Is this literally just like the greatest hits? Am I just playing the greatest hits? Are we gonna skip this? I thought this was gonna be like, here's something else that you missed. I need to Google this as part of my some light dust here and there. I didn't see much that needed to be done, especially after seeing enough food in the storage. I sat alone in the guest room sipping some tea to pass the time. Don't mind if I do. Is this literally... Is that why it said chapter 3? I left my phone somewhere. Hang on. I think so. I kind of remember this. Yeah. At first I was like, oh, maybe it's going to like spiral into something else. But so far, everything's copy-paste. Hang on. Is this just... Encore. On, not M-core. Encore selection is basically AU ending to the first game where the writer just said, let's make everything more crazy, but everything's playing out very similar right now. Dude, do I keep going? I don't know. Okay, new alternate routes for the main 5. These routes basically revisit stories from the first game, but add a different spin on their endings. So should I listen to all this or get to the end? That's what a Tomei Kitten has told me. I trust a Tomei Kitten. Also, Jean, I will smash him before the whole plot twist happens. That's right. Get that boy before he ruins it. Interesting, interesting. Okay, Encore. I'm reading, but trying not to read too much. I can't tell. It says it's a spin on the end, but like, I don't know how far it just copies before it like decides BTW now this happened. Like, I how many chapters were in the first game? Oh gosh. I sat alone in the guest room sipping some tea. I thought of cleaning the place a bit, but it was a defeat. It would defeat the purpose if Jean woke up from any noise I made. I never knew this mansion could be this quiet. This hour was usually much busier. I'd usually be enjoying lunch with Jean and Mathis around now. Now that we were a very lively, not that we were a very lively bunch, sometimes it'd get quiet while we ate. He would be then mumble to himself about how good the food tastes, but not hearing his praise now, I never knew how lonely it could be here. I didn't have it in me to pass the time idly in the guest room. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should just play through this or not. With no real objective, I went inside Mathis's room. Maybe it was from the room being empty a few days, but the light shining inside was making the dust in the air sparkle. I remember this. Okay, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna keep going, because if he bursts in this room, grabs some stuff, and starts to leave, then we know where we're at. Right? Right? Isn't that what happened in this scene? She started reading his notes. They're incomplete. And then he comes through and he just starts stomping on him. And she's like, what? Yeah, something. Oh, wait, what? A silver blade ran through the space my neck had just occupied. I heard something cut through the air. I was speechless. If I hadn't moved, the source of the attack was a knife. The one who drew it without hesitation was Mathis. Yeah, I remember this. It's you. He peered without a sound. Felt the sharp point against my back. Mathis.
勝手に人の部屋を漁るな。この屋敷の主人が俺だ。
Shouldn't go through stuff. I was worried about you, yo. Are you injured? Yo. Tuh. With a flick of his tongue, Mathis put away his dagger and began looking through the desk. Blah, blah,
ブローを取り逃がしたのに、ナイフが一本折れたから、予備を取りに来ただけだ。
One of my knives broke. I came to get another one. Huh? He continued to look inside his desk. What are you doing? Aren't those parts of your novel, bro? You're stepping on
こ
them.
んな紙切れ。俺の復讐には何の役にも立た。
Oh, man. Annoyed, Mathis fixed his hold on the knife in his hand. No. He then swung it down vertically. Wait. Stuck the blade into a stack of the papers still on the desk. As I stood there speechless, he continued pulling the knife away and tearing them into pieces. Why? Every day you were so happy. Your pen wouldn't stop as you dreamed of this novel. Why? I told you no novel is going to be any help. I'm skipping because this is flashbacks. Oh, okay. It's basically, we Googled it because me and Asia were talking about how this is very familiar. This is basically playing almost beat by beat from the original game right now because the encores have different endings, but it's recapturing like the same scenes. I don't know why they didn't just start at the end of it. So the encore is like the same story that we already know, with a different end. And I'm not sure. Does anybody miss Mathis just grabbing his outfit with two hands every time he walks around? I got on my knees and then he stomped on my hand. I remember this. I can't read any of this. Na 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 na. Losing my patience. Mathis looked down at me with cold eyes. I hung my head over the scraps of my hands, but just then. Oh. Didn't he stomp on my hand last time? Didn't he stomp on my hand last time while I was trying to pick up the papers? Mathis suddenly began groaning, dropping the knife he held. What's with my head? Mathis, yo! I moved quickly, catching his body as he fell. You have a terrible fever. You were out all this time in this condition. Man, his voice got so deep. It has nothing to do with you. Yes, it does. I had to set my sadness aside. Grabbing Mathis by his shoulder, I forced him to sit on his bed. I won't have time to rest. I can't let you go out alone now.
人の声が聞こえましたが、もしや坊ちゃんが
I heard voices coming from here. Has the master come back? Jean, I'm so glad you're here. Mathis has a terrible fever. Could you please bring some water?
わかりました。すぐに用意します。
Understood. I will bring some immediately. Trot, trot, trot. As I heard Jean hurry down the stairs, I gently laid Mathis's body down on his bed. Stop, let go. If you're gonna get in my way, then I don't care how much you hit me. You jerk. You can't do anything in your current state, right? The strength he was exerting to push against my shoulder was considerably weak. At the very least, rest until you're able to push me off. When you do, let's talk again. After hearing me out, Mathis silently pulled the bed sheets over himself. You're just a lowly servant. I'm pretty sure he didn't say that last time. I'm pretty sure. I think I would have been like, boy, you best. If he had said this part last time. But I could be wrong, man. Do I remember a year ago? Listen, we all have trauma. A shameless woman who just makes me almost want to kill her. That sounds like something Lucas would say. And in just a few seconds, he fell asleep. Jerk. I looked from his sleeping face to the fragments of paper scattered across the room. For now, I'll just focus on him getting better. I simply sat there silently gazing at Mathis's face as he slept. This guy. A few minutes later, Mathis' cheeks were red as he slept, seemingly still in pain.
なるほど。俺のいない間にそんなことが。
I see that all happened in my
申し訳ありま
absence.
せん。もっと早く気づき駆けつけていれば。
Hiccups. I'm sorry if I had noticed and arrived
お
sooner.
二人の大切な思いで小説を守ることもできたはずなのに。
I would have been able to protect the precious memories made by both of you. It's fine. It's not your fault, Jean. He's the one having a tantrum. There's no reason he'd be having a tantrum, right? Right, Jean? How could him having a tantrum have anything to do with you, right, Jean? Huh? Jean, you're not looking at me. Jean? Nor is it Mathis. I believe he's still confused because of so much has happened.
なら良いのですか。
I do hope that's all of it. As we stood there with anxious looks on our faces, Mathis stirred with pain. I have to kill him. Dude, let's strap him to the bed. Bro, my brother's killer. You know that guy. Camille Cloud, wink wink. Mathis's late older brother who was killed by Barreau. I have to make him feel the same suffering my brother felt. After that, he kept cursing the person he was obsessed with killing.
夢の中でも復讐ですか。
He's seeking revenge even in his dreams, I see.
今の坊ちゃんにはそれよりも大切な存在があるというのに、どうして？
Even when he has people around him now that are so important to him, why? Let's all talk together once he's better. He may have been acting so strangely because his fever was agitating his
そうです
emotions.
ね。明日には元の坊ちゃんに戻ってくださると信じましょう。
Let's believe in him and hope he'll be back to his normal self tomorrow. And fade to black. The hope was swiftly shattered.
なんということだ。
My word. I still can't believe Gene's poker face with all of this. I mean, look at this man. He had me. He could have had me. The remaining two of us in the mansion stood speechless. Our master, who we worked together to take care of, was no longer here. I'm sorry, it's because I wasn't watching him carefully
Yeah.
enough.
あなたのせいではありません。あの状態の坊ちゃんが抜け出すなんて誰が想像できましょうか。
No, this is not your fault. No one could have imagined he would have left considering his state. No one could have possibly carried him out of this place. And I don't know, plugged him into a machine. But if only I'd let my guard down. Nah, he was waiting for that. An hour earlier, after Jean had left to get medicine from the doctor to help relieve Mathis's fever, I was left to look after Mathis. Within a few minutes, I took to get water to cool his head with a wet towel. Mathis? He had vanished from his bed like a magician, like there were secret doors in this house. I looked for him immediately, as well as with Jean after he came back, but no matter how much we searched, we couldn't find him. Thank God Jean wasn't there. What an alibi. I contacted Adolphe about the incident, who was busy in the search for Barreau, and we were now waiting for a response back. How
大丈夫です。
convenient.
坊ちゃんはあの通り目立つ容姿をしていますから。
The bastard is rather easy to spot given his attire. Don't call him out like that. Like, what do you mean?
アドルフさんたちに助力を請えばきっとすぐに見つかりますよ。
I'm sure he'll be found right away with the help of Adolphe and his team. I hope so.
ええ。俺のロザリーだってきっと見守ってくれているはず。
Yes, Rosalie is surely watching over him as well, wink. Like, literally, her dead body is like an inch from his. As he mumbled, I saw that.
それ確か
Yeah, I don't need the flashback. We don't do flashbacks, even if it's flashbacks inside a game. Where technically it's the first time we're seeing it, but it is a flashback. His hand grasped a locket I saw before, which contained her picture. The cover was broken back then, and I wasn't able to see it clearly, but I bet she is. She's got the same hair color as me.
ええ。とても綺麗でしょ。
Isn't she
彼女もこ
beautiful?
の美しい髪を誇りにしていて毎日の手入れを欠かさなかったんです。
She was proud of her beautiful hair, something to be tended to without a day going by without.
懐かしいな。整えたばかりの髪を指先ですいたら
Feels like yesterday that I would comb through her perfect hair with my fingers.
もうやり直しじゃないと
And she'd
叱られました
scold
っ
me,
け。
saying she needed to fix it again. Oh, the days. Jean talked about her with pure love. But is it just me? His memories were definitely filled with love and joy, but there was expressing himself felt a bit strange. Ah. Sheen was all like, Is that moment? No.
本当にどうかもう二度と坊ちゃんに俺にはも
Thinking about it again, I wonder why Jean said those things. Didn't he have someone he wanted to share his future with? Come on, girl. Please. I have tissues here just in case because I'm wearing lace today. That wasn't all. Why hadn't I noticed sooner, girl? Because you're a sheltered child that was raised by a robot. She's not a robot, but she acts like one. Watch over her. Feels like yesterday, scolded. He was talking about his lover, but he was speaking in past tense. Jean, you're not able to see her now, are you? I asked my question, hoping to ease this strange feeling inside me, but
まあ、今の独り言を聞かれてしまいましたか。
you heard me talking to myself, I
すみま
see.
せん。あなたが察していた通り、俺はほんの少し嘘をついていました。
I'm very sorry, as you may have sensed, I did lie to you a
俺
little.
の恋人、ロザリーとは
My lover, Rosalie.
二度と会うことができません。
I cannot see her again ever. But she fell in love with the real him. Keep that in mind. Rosalie fell in love with him as a serial killer.
数年前、とある人物にむごたらしく殺されてしまったから。
A few years ago, she was brutally murdered by a certain person. I could only stare in surprise. He had been smiling so happy, talking about his future with his lover, but what he spoke about was something that could never come
実
true.
はこの写真は彼女が息を引き取った直後に遺体を撮影
The
した
picture
も
you
のなん
see
です。
here was taken just before she passed away.
それにその女は悪趣味だな。
You have horrible taste. She was pregnant too, yes.
だからシアン様はこの
And
写
she
真
was
を
murdered by another
悪趣味だと
prostitute that was mad that she was
そう
getting
言ったの
married
でしょ
to someone who was a noble and getting to leave the hood, as it were. I don't know what the right word would be. The ghetto? What's the word? They had a name for it where she's from. The slums? I don't know what they were calling it in this game. I can't remember. Which is why Monsieur Rolfi said that it had horrible taste, or
あ
so
の
I
一瞬
believe.
で彼女が死者だと見抜くとはさすが素晴らしい目をお持ちだ。
I have to admit, he truly is a genius for his ability to understand this picture with just a glance. I looked closer at the beautiful woman in the locket. She had her arms crossed across her chest and her eyes were closed as if she were sound asleep. Yeah, that's a normal... He really deduced there.
もちろん彼女をリライバーとして蘇らせることも考えました。
Of course, I did think about reviving her as a reviver.
ですが以前話した通り、私たちはお互いへの愛を失わないため、リライバーになることを拒否した身。
But as I mentioned, we were both committed to not becoming relivers so that we wouldn't lose our love.
ゆえに、バックアップなど取っているはずがなかった。
As such, she doesn't have a backup. So no matter how much he loved her,
彼女を永遠に失うことを受け入れるしかなかったのです。
which is why my only option was to accept that I lost her forever. Does Mathis know about this? He quietly shook
俺
his
と
head.
彼女の結婚を心から楽しみにしている坊ちゃんには
The master is sincerely happy about our engagement.
どうしても伝えることができなくて。なのでどうかあなたも黙っていてくださ
I
い。
can't possibly tell him the situation. Can you please keep our secret? I promise. I wonder why Jean must be feeling right now, talking about her. He said she was brutally murdered, but was she killed by Barreau? If so, I couldn't let him run free and take away another precious person from the Clyde family. Oh man. It's more complicated than that. I left the mansion pondering over what I could do to help. Although there wasn't much considering how helpless I was.
やあ、姫君。今宵もリコリスが咲き誇る良い夜だ。
Hi there, princess. It's another beautiful night for the Lycoris to bloom. Hi! I could at least gain information from the Watchman of Death, who oversaw all death here. Anku.
傷を負ったと聞き、見舞いに来たが、
I came to see you after hearing you were injured.
決意に満ちたその表情を見る限り、心配はいらないようだ。
Seems I had no need to worry, seeing your face so full of determination now. He gave me a smile, the true intentions of which I couldn't read. It had been a long time since we last met. He said he would watch me from the fields of the Lycoris. It was as if he knew what was going to happen. He appeared in front of me the moment I stepped outside for some fresh air. Virche has appeared again.
そのようだ。
So it seems. Anku, you warned me before, but I knew Virche was still alive and kept it a secret, didn't you? You knew.
ああ。彼の魂が冥界に運ばれた痕跡がなかったのでね。
There's a hair on my face. Yes, I could not find any traces of his soul being carried to Hades.
ちなみに、夜に咲く美しき花々たちの魂の行く末も教えるわけにはいかない。
Let me add, I cannot tell you where the souls of the beautiful flowers that bloom in the night have gone. He's probably telling me to find out myself what happened to the prostitute. I don't know why you can't tell me what you know. When you tell me things like that, it's like you want to provoke me.
すまないね。私も君に意地悪をしたくて口を塞いでいるわけではないのだが。
My apologies. I'm not keeping quiet because I wish to tease
だ
you.
が、可能な範囲で助言をしてあげよう。
However, I will help you as much as I
今
can.
回の事件の鍵を握るのは、おそらく君が一時の主人として慕うあの物書きの少年だ。
The key to this incident is likely the book-loving young man you once called master. Book-loving young man? You mean Mathis? You mean that guy?
ああ、彼の行動次第では事件が解決できる。
Yes, depending on his actions, murder incident can be resolved at dusk. Anku let out a deep sigh, slightly disgruntled that his words were
よって
obscured.
あの少年の行方を追い、その心を支えてやるといい。
So go after that young man and support him.
と、私が助言するまでもなく、君はすでに行動へと移しているか。
I suppose you're already taking measures to do so even without my advice. Anku, you know you're the only man for me. It's fine.
いやはや、初めて出会った際は、すべてに怯える儚い少女だったというのに。
How things change. You were but a frail young maiden trembling in fear when we first met.
いつの間にか、男を支える立派な女性に成長したものだ。
Now you've grown into a fine woman who supports the man she's chosen. Is this literally falling? So, Anku? Thing is, I have 2 switches, right? And I have the other copy of Virche. What if I take the other switch, put that game in, hiccups, find this moment, and see if it's beat by beat? Is this beat by beat after muttering that he was jealous Anku disappeared? And tell me I'm supposed to believe that man's not magic. He disappeared. Did he Jason style this? He's like, look over there, a cloud that looks like a dinosaur. And then she's like, what? And then he just runs. The next day, the Upper royal family placed a gag order on Virche's existence to prevent chaos from breaking out amongst the citizens. After announcing that Virche was dead, if anyone found out that he was still alive, the royal family would completely lose face. As only one person was killed, the royal family was planning on capturing and erasing Virche's existence before rumors spread, because they're so good at doing that. At least that was what Jean thought, as he told me with a shrug. Adolf,
ま
there
さ
they
か
are.
マティスがそんなことになってるなんて。
Also, tell me you can't fall in love when Hugo over here is a reliver and he's got like a crush on somebody. I never would have guessed this could happen to
病み上がりにい
Mathis.
くらなんでも無茶だろう。そのあたりでぶっ倒れてねえだろうな。
He's pushing himself too hard considering he's recovered from being sick. I hope he's not collapsed somewhere. We've asked some hospital and medical clinics, but it seems no one's matching Mathis' description has come in.
そうか。なら、一人でブローを追ってると見て間違いないだろう。
He's chasing after Bro himself. I'm gonna start skipping again.
はい。それで皆
I
様、
know you're
どう
busy
か
with Bro,
我
but
が
could you
主の
also
捜
lend
索
a
に。
hand in searching for my master? The 3 men looked at each other and nodded in reply to Jean's timid request.
構わない。マティスがブローを追うなら。
They'll be in the same place at some point. Adolphe then went on to tell what he and his usual crew were checking on Barreau. Regardless, he was planning on investigating.
マティスのことも心配だし、俺たちにできることなら、
We'll
な
help
んで
with
むしろマティス
whatever.
を追うことで、ブローの手がかりを得られるかもしれねえな。
Might get clues from Barreau if we're looking for Mathis.
あり
Thanks.
がとうご。
I'll repay the favor. Jean firmly blah blah blah.
ひとまず、お前がブローに。
Let's check the spots where Barreau. Right, she starts following them at this point, right? If I remember, why is this so much of a repeat? Like, you could do some highlights. The spot at which we arrived still had traces of blood.
それじゃあ俺とヒューゴは向こうの路地を探す。
We'll look around the streets over
お
that
前は
way.
イブとジャンから何があっても離れるんじゃないぞ
Don't。get lost.
ブローがいつどこに潜んでるかわからないからな。
You don't know where he's hiding or where he might appear. Both of you be careful. After watching the two men leave, I looked around my surroundings. And then I had a flashback of the little boy crying because his sister's dead. His sister, who's a reliver, I might add, is dead. Right. Last night, that woman.
大丈夫？
気分が優れないのなら屋敷に戻られた方が。
Ah, man, how are you? Feeling good? No, that's all right. Please, don't worry about me. We wouldn't get anywhere with me like this. In fact, I'd just be in everyone's way. Was released? It released yesterday. Came out on the 7th. Finally, yeah. The problem is this one is the reason I'm kind of skipping and not playing it all the way through is the Encore has a lot of repeating the content from the previous game because the Encore has an alternate ending to the first game. But for some reason, we're going through a lot of the same stuff to get there. I pursed my lips to keep myself quiet as I looked for Mathis when suddenly... Mathis! Jump on his back. I bumped into him as he stepped out from a corner.
坊ちゃん。
Master!
こんなところにいたんだね。みんなすごく心配して。
Is there anything in the one game that you can't find here? What do you mean by the one game? I'm not sure how much is repeating. Only because it's been a year since I played the first one, Era Salvation. So, yes. There is a lot from the first game. First off, the first game doesn't actually exist in here. This has alternate endings, and it started in Chapter 3, not Chapter 1, for Mathis' story. So this is like after they had went to the market, after he'd already started writing stories. But it's been following kind of close to the first one. He came home. Actually, maybe this is different. Do I want to get another Switch in here? I can't play two Switches at once on the screen. Because I could have sworn he stomped on the stuff, fainted, and then he woke up, and then he had like that cry face, blushy face. Hang on, let's see. I'm easily distracted. Let's go. Filter. We'll get there. Yeah, 568 photos. This will take no time. I really should go through and just start deleting some of these. Okay, wait, that's the beginning. No, there he is. No, there it is. All right, this is... This is when he comes back, right? And he has the fever. I wish I would told me what chapter I was on when I did this, which is why I needed to kill him. Hello, dear. I heard that you were injured, so I came to see you. Lucas. This is the thing with the flowers in it. That's when he dressed as a woman. There's Capuchin. We remember that. That's when we found out he was actually whatever. He was not a real baby. And then, fucking that guy. Is it? Okay, maybe this is all different. And this is the first ending we had. where we're like, I love you, and then he's all like, let me just end your life. Or this one where he's all like, let's just live forever. Worth buying anyways. Game really got me. There's more to it than this though. I made that same screenshot. Did you? Oh goodness. Oh goodness. There's so much in here. All right, but yeah, this skipped basically this part and then started right in chapter 3 after the Sheen moment, after I'm assuming the hair moment. Yeah, it started like right here because this is when they run into the person that's dying. But it's gonna have a different ending to the ending. And then there's a different like story altogether, and then there's side stories, and then there's the story of the Wanderer. So you get his story too, and then Anku has another ending, which I'm very excited to get to. But yeah, this is called the side end encore. So this is like, we're gonna see. Crying Mathis is really too charming. It was definitely a CG. Everyone's worried about you, you loser. More people in my way. You do not talk to your dad like that. That's right, you tell him, Jean. You're like, I am your papa, you quit it. Eves and Jean both froze. So this is your doing. Is he staring at me? Is he looking at me with a gaze that could kill? With a gaze that could kill? Mathis, let's go back to the mansion. If you wish to capture Barreau, we should all work together. Thank you for your answers. I'm glad you appreciate them. I'm not sure if they're helpful. If we were on the same main screen earlier, I could explain it a little bit better because I was kind of confused. There was like 5 choices. One's blacked out because it's Anku. But there's like, it said like 8 pages of just side stories. And then this. And then the alternate ends. And then there was something else and I can't remember what it was. Oh, the Wanderer's story. And then there was Anku's story. So we've got a bunch of different things. Got the gist. Good. I'm glad. Are you stupid? Hey, don't talk to me like that. Okay? You're like a year old. Calm down.
捉えることが目的の自警団と行動なんてしたらブローを殺せる可能性が低くなるじゃないか。
I'd be less likely to kill Barreau if I joined the corps whose objective is just to capture him. Well, you can't capture him, okay? He's a literal tank in the body of a frail human being. I'm sure it's much better than acting all alone.
サインだよ。犠牲者が。
Don't tell me to shut up. Shut up, you hypocrite. A hypocrite! In anger, Mathis kicked the wall right beside him. Sir. Mathis? I kind of expected it since it's not the next part, but rather plus disc. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm curious. I think we all said we weren't really sure what we're gonna expect in this story since some endings were pretty finite. Like, if you die, it's kind of the end. Eves and Jean rushed over and pulled me away from Mathis, but Mathis's hostility towards me didn't fade.
いいよな、お前は。自分のことを死神だとか皮肉っておきながら。
Must be nice being able to bemoan how you're dead.
本当に大切な人は誰一人失っていないんだから。
Yet you've never lost a single person who's truly important to you. You don't know. I'm an orphan, Mathis.
兄さんをなぶり殺しにされた俺の気持ちなんて一生わからないだろう。
You'll never know how I feel about having a brother who was tormented to death. Guess what? That brother's a fiction of your imagination. Your memories aren't real. This is fake. Imagine. Well.
それは違うよ、マティス。
You're wrong, Mathis. I looked up to see Eve step in front of me as he protected me.
大切なものを失う痛みを知っている。
Mia knows the pain of losing someone dear to
知
her.
っているからこそ、宝物である君まで失いたくないと、こうして必死になってるんだ。
It's gonna work. It's gonna work. It's because she knows that she's trying so hard to make sure she doesn't lose you another treasure of hers. Eves.
女は得だね。綺麗事を抜かしていれば無条件で男に守ってもらえるんだから。
Hope you'll enjoy it and have a great time in general. I have some licked left unread though. And seeing people burn alive, kid, right? Like, imagine there's different kinds of pain, right? But like, if you're gonna get on a high horse and your high horse is, you don't even know what it's like to a person who literally like almost became homeless because no one wanted to take her in because they're like, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. Women have it so easy. They just need to say things that sound nice and men come to protect them unconditionally. Mathis, you sound like a total jerk right now.
坊ちゃん、いい加減に。
Master, that is quite enough.
あいにくと
Look
仲良しごっこをしながら成し遂げられる
at
ほ
Yaoi
ど俺の復讐は
from
簡単じゃ
Baka
ないんだ。
Twin Sister Company. Oh. Interesting. Kind of behind on my yaoi, actually. Unfortunately, my need for revenge isn't as simple as pretending we're all friends here. Also, is someone gonna talk about how Mathis's voice dropped? Like, he just turned into a man.
これ以上邪魔をするつもりなら
If you intend to continue getting into my
ブ
way,
ローの前にお前らをこの場で殺す。
I'll kill you all right now before I kill Barreau. My breath stopped in my throat when I saw the glint of his dagger. He drew without hesitation.
本気マティス。
Are you serious, Mathis?
当然だ。俺は復讐以外の全てを捨てる覚悟で屋敷を出たんだから。
Of course I am. I left the mansion prepared to throw away everything other than my revenge.
そっか。俺はできれば戦いたくないんだけど。
I see. I didn't want to have to fight you if possible.
君が誰かを傷つけるっていうのなら全力で止めるしかない。
But if you intend to hurt someone, then I'll stop you with everything I have. He's got a long sword, my guy. You got a tiny dagger. They're glowered at each other with ferocity. There was no telling which one of them would swing their blade first, though this air of hostility and bloodthirst. I was afraid of the future where these two, as close as each other as siblings, would start killing each other. They are not that close. They're not that close. They're not that close. What are you talking about? They barely know each other. I started to speak. Does that mean if you don't get in your way, we can stay with you? And that was what came out of me.
何？
What?
それは一体どういう意味で？
Yeah, what are you saying? If I don't get in the way of your revenge and in fact help you, would you stop running away on your own?
君、それは
But yeah, you can't. What am I gonna do? What's he gonna
く
do?
だらない。
This is ridiculous. Exasperated by my suggestion, Mathis put away his dagger.
坊ちゃん、どこへ？
Master, where are you going? He just like scooches a little bit more.
敵にわざわざ教える義理はない。また邪魔をしたらその時は今度こそ殺す。
I have no reason to tell that to my enemy. The next time you get in my way again, I'll be sure to kill you. The reason he had to put his knife away is because he can't walk away because of how long his dress is. He turned his back and disappeared into the alley. Just distracting people, that's my charm.
マジかよ。あのマティスがな物騒なことを言ったのか。
Mathis said that of all people?
冗談じゃなく。
Is this some kind of joke? Yeah.
あの殺意は間違いなく本物だったよ。
That bloodthirst was definitely real.
想像できねえな。
I just can't imagine it. What happened to Mathis? It's almost as if he's a completely different person. Gene, you wouldn't know why he's acting like a completely different person, would you? You don't have any idea why, like, he would change so dramatically. Like it's like he has more than one person inside of him. Like he's got like 6 or 7 wolves inside of him, if I were to surmise. Hiccups. We regrouped around with Adolf and Hugo and reported our encounter with Mathis. I couldn't say I was surprised by how shocked they were at his sudden
しか
change.
し殺し合いを止めるためとはいえ、あなたが復讐の手伝いをすると言い出した時は驚きましたよ。
I must say I'm surprised you suggested to help in his revenge, even if it was to stop a fight. Oh, I meant it. I raised my head at Jean. I did say that in the spur of the moment, but now that I think about it, I feel it's certainly a possible approach to take. Everyone there looked at each other in response to my suggestion. Hear me out.
おいおい、まさか本当に
I love your
マティ
snark.
スについて行って復讐の手伝いを
It's
する
like
つもりか。
watching a movie for the second time, and you're like, oh, I know the twist now. Gee. Hang on, you're not actually thinking of helping Mathis plot his revenge, are you?
ダメだ。ブローは当然だが。
No, wait, Baro's already dangerous enough. You're not my dad, Adolf, and you're actually not my brother either, but, you know, we just keep using that term a lot.
今のマティスも危険すぎる。少しでも勘に触ることをしたら本当に殺されかねない。
So is Mathis right now. If you do anything that agitates him at all, it's completely possible he might kill you. And that's a risk I'm going to take on my own, Adolf. I won't do anything rash. I won't do anything to get in his way either. But I can get information on Baro and keep track of where Mathis is and share all of that with you from that position.
それでも。
Still, please, I just can't leave Mathis alone like this. Did you see him? His voice got deeper. He's going through something.
止めたところで彼女は一人でマティスの元に向かうと思うよ。
I can imagine she'll go to Mathis even if we try to stop her. Eve's interrupted
So
Adolf's
then,
protest. Isn't that right, Leah? Yes. I'm a stubborn. I nodded, firmly standing by my decision. He tore up his precious manuscript without any hesitation. I want to know what happened to Mathis's body and mind. And above all,
どんな相手だろうとわざと一人ぼっちにするような意地悪だけはしちゃダメだ。
never do anything to isolate a person no matter who it is.
小さい頃
That's what my brother told me when I was little. The boy's on an island. I don't want to force Mathis to be alone in his current state. Yeah, but if you chained him up, he wouldn't be alone. I want to be by his side no matter how much he might push me away. Leah.
頑固なところはアドルフ譲りだね。
Adolf's stubbornness must have rubbed off on you.
ええ、我が主のことをそこまで思っていただけるとは。
Indeed, I never knew you cared so much for the master. It's not really that, like, I care that much for the master. It's just that, like, usually people ignore me, and, like, lately they haven't been ignoring me as much, even though people literally tried to kill me not too long ago. Like, they were like, kill the girl that lives in this house with you, Madam Mom, I think that's her name.
根拠はありませんが、俺はそんな彼女になら坊ちゃんのことを託しても大丈夫だと思います。
I have no grounds to be sure of this, but I believe he'll be just fine under your care, Leah.
だな。前みたいにマティスが暴走車になっても困る。
Yeah, it'd spell trouble if Mathis went crazy like
かといって
before.
武器を持ってる俺らが付け回したところで殺し合いにしかならねえだろうし。
That said, chasing around him with all the weapons, I'm sure just end up as a
そういう意味で
fight
は
to the death.
ジョーちゃんはお目付け役として
In
ぴっ
that
たりなん
sense,
じゃねえの？
Leah would be perfect for this job, don't you think? After hearing everyone's opinion, Adolf stood there in silence. However, he seemed to understand that I would never change my stance, no matter how hard he tried to persuade me.
危険な真似だけはするなよ。
Just don't do anything dangerous. With a frustrated expression, he gave me his approval. Thanks. After that,
マティスの異変については 俺たちの方でも調べてみるよ。
We'll look into
い
Mathis'
くら
sudden
なんでも表変ぶ
change.
りがおかしい。
It's just too extreme of a
子供の変
change.
化や成長に詳しいリュカ先生に聞けば何かわかるかもしれないな。
We might understand something by asking Lucas, who knows a lot about how children change and grow. Yeah, let's ask Lucas. Come on, let's all hold hands and find Lucas. Eves and Hugo left after making their suggestion. I went back to get my things, which included the transmitter and a dagger for self-defense, and began walking around Cohen in the hopes of finding Mathis. Because his attire stood out, I was able to quickly identify him. Buddy, I eventually found him in a corner of Cohen. Sitting on a bench in front of a waterway, he was gazing at his dagger. He seemed for seemingly no reason at all. Quietly, I sat beside him.
証拠りもなく追ってきたのか。何度言われようが、俺はお前たちと協力するつもりなんて。
You refused to listen and still came after me. No matter how many times you ask, I won't cooperate. So, no, that's not why I'm here. I'm simply allowing myself to be with you. That's right. Take that. Mathis's hand stopped fidgeting with his dagger. The eyes that looked at me were filled with confusion. When I asked you if it was okay to be by your side if I helped, you didn't say no, did you?
それは。
Well, if so, I took advantage of your lack of response and decided on my own accord to be by your side. I've always said no answer is acceptance. If you don't reply to a question, the answer is whatever answer I wanted it to be. In fact, one time my boss was like, "Did I give you permission?" And I'm like, "You didn't tell me no." And he was like, "Okay." Didn't reply to the email, so not my fault. Although I know that's a ridiculous way to think about it.
ついてきたところで。足手まといだ。
You'd be in the way just by following me. Hey, Mathis, okay? Am I wearing heels? I might be wearing heels. I don't know. I don't think I've noticed her feet before. She's got a really long dress on. But you don't have to wait for me. If you're walking at a pace I can't keep up with, I'll catch up maybe, but I'll find you again. That's why I'll do whatever I can to help take care of you. So please, let me stay with you, okay? He's like, "You smell bad. Keep insulting me, man." Mathis stood, seemingly annoyed. And then he simply turned his back to me and started to walk away. I guess not. He's gonna pause.
何をぼーっとしてるんだ。早く来い。最初から俺に手間をかけさせるな。
Oh, wow. He's being a tsundere. Wait, that's not Mathis's MO at all. What are you doing just sitting there? Hurry up. Don't start being a bother to me
自
already.
分から言い出したからには、どんな命令も聞いてもらうからな。
Know that you'll be following any orders I give you since you're the one who suggested this. And she's like, "Hi!" Right. As he stopped himself to wait for me, I rushed after him with a smile. And then he groaned. What Mathis chose to use as his base was a small empty cottage no one was living in between Cohen and Shadis. I know this place. It's where I fell in love with Sheen. When did you find this place? I asked my questions. I put down my things. How many
今
things
日の
do you
うちに
have?
使えそうな場所を探しておいた。
I was looking for a place I could use
ここ
today.
ならブローが出没するシュディにもすぐに向かうことができる。
From here, I can quickly get to Shadis when Boro shows up. Mathis set down some daggers, his tools for revenge, and other belongings upon a slightly dusty
こ
table.
のナイフ、全部手入れしておけ。
Clean up all these daggers.
俺はブローの目撃証言をまとめるのに忙しいからな。
I'll be busy organizing all the testimonies of Baro's sightings. I'm gonna be so real with you. Do you have a sharpening stone up in this house? Like, what do you expect her to do? Like, are they dirty? Oh,
俺の手伝いをするんだろ。それとも口だけか。
we're finally in a part that
人
feels
殺しの道
different.
具に
I
は
don't.
触り
This
たく
never
ないと。
happened. You're gonna help me, right? Or was that all just talk? You don't want to touch anything used to kill someone? Oh, sir. Knives aren't the only way. I was just a bit surprised. Are you sure you're alright with me to handle these? You okay with that? What if I, like, put corks at the end of all of them and they're not stabby anymore? Would you notice?
つべこべ言わずにさっさとやれ。役に立たないのなら、今すぐここから追い出すぞ。
Stop stalling and do it. If you aren't going to help me, then I'll chase you out of here this instant. Chase me like a game of tag? Let's go. I nodded right away in response to his obstinate demand. I'll begin right now. Once I'm done, I'll go shopping for dinner tonight. I mean, I can't imagine they're going to take too long to clean. Are we calling how to maintain blades the way Adolph taught me? Using some tools, she did have a sharpening stone. Oh my god. I carefully cleaned and sharpened the dagger meant to be stabbed into Barreau. How's this? I timidly asked Mathis, and he took one of the finished daggers in hand, and after slightly touching its blade.
まあ、悪くないな。
Not bad, I guess, dude. He nodded in approval after checking the small bead of blood that appeared on him. Mathis, you're bleeding.
この程度、
This
大
is
したことない。
nothing. Let me help you. Lightly wiping away the blood, he stared at me.
意外だな。どんな命も大切にするお優しいお前のことだから。
I don't think you understand. I'll do anything. I didn't expect this. I always knew you to be a kind and gentle type that sees all life as precious.
刃を鈍らせるなり、俺が復讐できないよう何かしら仕掛けると思っていた。
I thought you'd try something like dulling my knives to sabotage and stop me from carrying out my revenge. She's like, what? No, never. Putting corks on the end of all of them. He spoke a bit taken aback, and I replied, you would know right away. I'm afraid of you? Is she? Oh gosh, it's been so long. How do I know if I picked the right answer? If I tried anything, you would know right away. Mathis did test the sharpness of the blades right after I finished.
その従順な使用人らしさだけは評価してやる。
I suppose I should commend you for at least being an obedient servant. Ask him why his voice changed. And with that, Mathis lowered himself to the floor and lay down on the floor.
もう寝る。夕食はいらない。
I'm going to sleep. I don't need dinner. Mathis, you weigh like 16 pounds. You do need dinner. Understood, but there is a bed. You don't need to sleep on the
ベッ
floor.
ドなんかで寝たら、ブローが出てきたとき、すぐに行動できないだろ。
If Perot appears, I can't get up and move right away from bed. I would think you can, actually. It'd be easier to stand than from the floor.
だいたいこんなボロ声のベッドのね。
I gotta. Ah, okay. I'd be lying if I said I didn't think of trying that, but I'm afraid of making you angry in your current state, so I stopped myself.
その従順な使用人だ。だいたいこんなボロ声のベッドの寝心地なんて、
Wasn't much
た
of
か
a
が
change.
知れてるからな。お前が好きに使え。
Besides, a bed in a rundown cottage like this would hardly be comfortable. You use it. I thought for a moment and just laid on the floor next to him. And then took some sheets that were on the bed and approached Mathis. Putting them over both Mathis and myself, I lay down on the floor as well.
何のつもりだ。
What are you doing? No servant could possibly use a bed while their master's on the floor. Also, neither of us have to worry about catching a cold if we put the sheets over both of
下
us.
手な言い訳だな。
What a terrible excuse. Well, you wouldn't be able to carry out your investigation if you fall ill, right?
勝手にしろ。
Do what you want. I am. After giving me an annoyed look, Mathis turned away from me. Good night, Mathis. There was no response.
おやすみなさい。また明日。
That he didn't wish me a good night, that he couldn't talk about his novel, that I couldn't see his smile. It was sad. It was all so sad. And the fact that his voice changed, that's just fine. They grow up so fast. I feel like a child. I pulled the sheets over me and criticized myself for being weak. Until the chase for Barreau ends and you return to your kind, gentle self. What if this is his real self? What if this is not a fake version of himself? I'll be by your side. I promise not to leave you. If I still have these warm memories of you, no matter what anyone might say to me, I will believe in Mathis Clyde from the bottom of my heart. That's not even his real name. I couldn't tell how much time had passed after I closed my eyes to force myself to sleep. Next to me was that carefree woman sleeping with a peaceful expression. She looked as if the space beside me was the safest space she could possibly be.
殴られておいてどういう神経をしてるんだ。
What is she thinking after I hit her like that? Honestly, great question. Because after you've hit her, you've threatened to kill her like 3 times, and she's still like, he was nice to me once. Maybe that entire memory was erased from her mind, or maybe she remembered it and was simply that defenseless. Maybe. Maybe she didn't mind.
正直目障りだ。戦力にもならないし。
Why is there parentheses? You're saying it out loud. Your mouth is moving. She's honestly an eyesore. She won't help in a
綺
fight.
麗事ばかり口にして俺の神経を逆なでする。
She spouts nonsense, which only sounds pretty, which irritates me. And yet,
どうして俺はこいつを受け入れたんだろ
why am I letting
う。
her
突き
stay
放す
here?
ことだってできたはずなのに。
I can easily push her away. As I lay there thinking, Mathis, I promise I won't leave you. She mumbled carelessly in her sleep. This fool can't even keep her dreams to herself. Having someone ask me for help was special to me. Yeah, there's a flashback. Ooh, look at the static. This is when she jumped to save him from Barreau, and Barreau cut her hair, and then afterwards Lucas is like, they did cut your hair. It meant more to me, blah, blah, blah. I didn't want you to be killed in some lonely place because I couldn't be of any help.
バカだな。自分で言った言葉に縛られるなんて。
What an idiot. She trapped herself in her own words. The moment it reached 10 o'clock in my eternal clock, I suddenly felt sleepy. Unable to fight the urge, I closed my
復
eyes.
讐を果たすためならどんなことでもする。
I'll do anything to extract my revenge, even if it
こ
meant
の女を使い潰してでも。
working with this woman to the very end. You sound very staticky. You're right, buddy. Jean. Hi, Jean. Love and hate are 2 sides of the same coin. I wonder who first thought of such a thing.
驚いたな。想定よりも復讐心が強い。
I'm surprised. His need for revenge is much greater than I
まさ
imagined.
かそこまでブローへの復讐にとらわれるなんて。
I didn't think he would be so possessed by revenge on Barreau. The emotion born from his memories seemed to have developed further. In that sense, it could be said that the experiment with Mathis was an astounding
俺
success.
とロザリーの愛にこそ及ばないが。
Could never be as strong as the love between me and Rosalie.
今のあいつの憎しみはそこらの恋愛感情を軽く超えている。
but his hatred is stronger than most people's love.
ある意味もう実験は成功しているんじゃないか。
I guess in a sense, it means this experiment was a success. Hate was an emotion very close to love. If I rebuilt her memory on that foundation of this experiment, the possibility of reviving Rosalie, who loved me, was high. I should send these results to my supporter and ask for their opinion.
それを確かめるためにもマティスには一度戻ってきてもらわないとな。
In order to make sure my findings are correct, I need Mathis to come back
数
to me.
日程度なら記憶をダウンロードしなくても人格が不安定になる程度で済むが。
If he's away for a few days without his memories being downloaded, his personality will become slightly unstable.
さすがに1週間は持たない。貴重な実験体を偽りの復讐で失ってたまるかよ。
But he won't hold out for a week. I won't lose my precious specimen over some fabricated desire for revenge. Sounds surprisingly like a you problem. The next day. Good morning, Mathis. About breakfast, I...
マルシェで買ったもので済ませる。厨房もないのに作るのも面倒。
We'll make do with something from the marché. Making something without a kitchen would be a pain.
何？僕の顔に何かついてる？
What? Is there something on my face? No. Did he seem somewhat different from yesterday? He doesn't sound as forceful. Maybe it's because he's just woken up. Wondering what it might be, I gathered our things and headed out with him to go shopping. How many things do y'all have? As we brought some bread at the first stall we came across at the marché.
今日から本格的にブローの調査に向かう。
Today we'll really start investigating the whereabouts of Burrow. Right? Even while gulping down some somewhat hardened bread into his stomach, Mathis spoke with a strong look of
こ
determination.
の間殺害された被害者は娼婦だった。
The victim who was killed the other day was a
だから
prostitute.
娼婦の失踪事件にもリライバーとして蘇った奴が関与していると僕は考えてる。
Which means the incident with the missing prostitutes have something to do with being relivers. That's what I'm thinking. I guess that the others were now looking into how he became a reliver as well. That he might be able to get some information if we seek out where they might have gone.
ああ、面倒だけど、しばらくは娼婦たちが立ち寄りそうな場所を中心に
It might be a pain, but for the moment, let's ask around at the places where prostitutes might hang around. Where is that? He yawned after he spoke, as if to emphasize just how much of a pain it was.
ほんと面倒。いっそ誰かが今すぐにでもブローに殺されてくれれば。
It really is a pain. If only someone would just let themselves get killed by Barreau right now. Mathis!
それが一番手っ取り早いのは事実だろ。
It's a fact. That'd be the best way to find him. Mathis looked away from my glare and started walking off, taking the last bite of his bread. He's like, gosh, if someone would just get murdered, easier.
ああ、シュディに出入りするのをよく見かけたよ。
A prostitute with pretty black hair. I think I've seen her come in and out of Shadis.
商売が終わった後は決まってお気に入りの酒場に通ってたな。
After getting done with her business, she often went to a favorite bar of hers. Would you know where that bar is?
西のマルシェに隣接している小さな酒場だよ。あそこは娼婦たちのたまり場みたいなものだからな。
These leaves are gorgeous, but they're a pain in the butt. You're trying to do something and not get them caught at the same time. Alright, there we go. It's connected to the marché at the west. It's a small bar. A lot of prostitutes make it their gathering spot.
もういいかい。
Are we done?
ブローが死んだとはいえ、あ
まりあんたに関わりたくないんだ。
Bro might be dead, but I still don't want to get too involved. Also, as a reminder, prostitutes. Oh no, wait. Am I thinking of Winter's Wish? Is it the same? Relivers can't get pregnant. Which is typically why relivers suck, right? Right? Is that one of the things? Was that something? Is that real? Am I thinking wrong? Am I thinking of Winter's Wish? Am I thinking of Vessels? Have I conjoined the two stories because we played Winter's Wish right after playing Virche, and I was like, this is just like Virche. Because I thought they were like relivers couldn't, they didn't carry STDs because they can't, and that they couldn't have children. Right? But I know that for a fact is what's happening in Winter's Wish because most of the women of the night in Winter's Wish were primarily vessels for the same reason because they couldn't carry STDs and they can't have children. Have I overlapped that somehow?
あ
Thank you
ん
for
たがいる
speaking
と
to us.
聞き込みが楽でいいな。
Asking around for information is pretty easy with you here. Why? Is it because I'm so pretty? Say it.
自警団でもない男が女の噂を聞き込んでたらさすがに悪目立ちしてこの衛兵に目をつけられる。
If any man not part of the corps was asking around about a woman, they'd definitely catch the attention of the royal guard. I'm glad to be of help. Should we get going to the bar that man told us about?
ああ
Yeah. I joined Mathis as he headed towards the bar with somewhat listless yet determined steps. It was still noon, but the sound of the woman's voice enjoying their drinks filled the bar.
ああ、綺麗な子。お姉さんと一杯どう？
Ooh, that's a pretty boy. Care to have a drink with me?
無理。
No.
あら、釣れないよね。
Oh.
やめときなさいよ。可愛いお嬢さんが一緒じゃない。
Give it up. He's got a pretty girl with him, see? Mathis continued to be annoyed as he dodged the woman's advances while he asked around for information. We then came across one woman who let us in on a rumor.
ああ、いなくなった女の子たち。
The girls that
あ
went
の子たちなら
missing
今
thanks to the
頃
deliverer.
配達人のおかげで。
I bet that's where they're there by now. Oops.
外の国で自由に生きてるんじゃないかしら。多分ね。
Perhaps. Living a free life in a foreign land and the outside world. The outside world?
配達人。
The deliverer?
彼女の行方が気になるってことは、あなたたち、あのおまじないについて聞きに来たんじゃないの？
Didn't you all come here to ask about the whereabouts of the ritual?
配達人。
The deliverer.
それは月が隠
Yeah, yeah,
れ
yeah.
る
We're not
彼
doing
が
this. We had this
そ
story.
んな
It's the guy who, if you bring a
その
flower
噂を
bottle
聞
as
い
an
て
offering, he'll take
自由
you
と外への憧れを募らせた
past the
結
shore.
果
The more we heard about it, the more we longed to leave this place.
そのおまじないを実行して女たちは本当に消息を絶っている。
All the women who
Oh.
performed this ritual are now missing. The woman nodded charmingly in response to Mathis's question. A beautiful man. For just a moment, Anku's face flashed in my mind. Quite a beautiful man. I doubt he would do such a thing. I quickly dismissed that thought. So you said it was... So what you said is the reason why so many women have gone missing.
そんな面倒でくだらない噂を信じるなんて物好きだな。
There really must be something believing in such a worthless and ridiculous rumor.
信じたんじゃなく信じないとやっていけなかったんじゃないの？
I can't eat faster. I'd say they have little choice but to believe in it.
この国で23年以上生き、女としての幸せを手に入れるには、
The only way a woman in this country can live beyond 23 and find
必
happiness
ずリライバーになる必要がある。
is to become a real
そ
lifer.
れには当然お金がいる。だから唯一の財産である体を売る。
Naturally, it requires money, so we sell our most valuable asset, our bodies. Even if they did that and somehow became a
汚
real
れた
lifer,
体と記憶を保持し続ける女として男から永遠に蔑まれる運命にある。
we're then doomed to be despised by the very men who seek us out, as well as others who believe our minds and bodies are filthy.
稀にお客様に見初められて結婚までこぎつける子もいるけれど、そんな運のいい子は一握り。
Ooh, I wonder where this story lingers. Remember this one? On rare occasions, some of our clients do end up taking us as their brides, but only a handful are lucky enough for
そんな
that.
環境に閉じ込められれば外の国に憧れて
So you see, we're trapped in this job once we begin.
信憑性のないおまじないにすがりつきたくなるのも無理ないでしょ。
Do you blame us for longing to leave this life and believing in a better future? And you blame us for wanting a happy ending? Like, can you? She went on to say that there was a reason those who went missing were ignored and dismissed as unimportant cases. Similar to the women Yves was looking for, most of them lived on the go without a permanent address, and no one saw enough value in their lives to care whether they went missing or
おま
not.
じないを試した子たちが帰ってこないのは無事に国の外へとたどり着いて
The girls who tested their luck with the ritual are gone because they were finally able to
愛す
leave.
る人と人間らしい生き方を送っていると信じているから。
I believe they're living a new life with someone they love. Then the girl with the long black hair also wanted to leave.
ええ、貧民街に住む弟と一緒に外へ出るんだって張り切って準備をしていたわよ。
She said she was going to leave with her brother who was living in the slums, and was excited to get all of her things in order. Siblings.
それに他の子たちもお腹の子と幸せになるんだって何度も繰り返してたわね。
Along with her, plenty of other girls were talking about becoming happy with the children they were carrying. Some of the women who have gone missing were
え
pregnant.
え、黒髪の子は違うけど今思えば
Yes, but not the girl with the black hair, now that I think about it.
おまじないを実行したのは妊娠してしばらく稼ぐことができない子が多かったわね。
A lot of girls who tried out the ritual weren't able to make money during the time they were pregnant. If so, they wanted to believe the rumors and saw that other missing women as those who were successful in leaving the island. At least that was what I assumed.
失踪事件と殺人が起きる日は同じ。その配達人とブローが同一人物である可能性は高いな。
The disappearance and murders happened on the same day. It's highly possible that the deliverer and Barreau are the same person. Deliverer, a mysterious person who is said to appear on a boat and deliver people out of Arpachel. On cloudy nights, he is summoned when a woman goes to the beach and raises a bottle filled with flowers to the stars. If that's the case, shouldn't we follow more rumors about the deliverer?
配達人に興味があるなら鑑賞用に作った この瓶をあげる。
If you're interested in the deliverer, let me give you this jar I made just to look at. The woman gave a meaningful look to me, standing
大
next to
切にしてく
Mathis.
れる恋人がいるあなたは外に出る必要なんてないと思うけれど。
I don't see a need to leave this place if you have a lover who cares about you. Huh? Oh. It took me a few seconds to understand by lover she was referring to Mathis. We aren't in that sort of relationship. It was just so awkward that I hung my head down as I denied her assumption.
そうだ。こいつは僕にとってただの使用人で、利用するだけのただの駒だ。 間違
Okay,
っても
Mathis.
恋人なんかじゃない。
I like you less now. This woman is just my servant, a pawn meant only to be used by me. Should never be my lover.
あらひどいわね。そんなんじゃ愛想をつかされて逃げられちゃうわよ。
My, how terrible. At this rate, she'll get fed up with you and run away, you know?
別に、その時は一人で行動するまでだ。
That's fine. I'll just act on my own then. Jerk.
ブローと配達人が同一人物なら、また娼婦が殺されるかもしれない。
If Perot and the deliverer are the same person, another prostitute might be
行方不
killed.
明になった女たちも、すでに殺されているだろうな。
I'm sure the women who went missing are already dead by now. I don't want to lose hope, but that possibility is certainly high. Leaving the bar, I walked with Mathis, continuing to gather
雲
information.
行きからして、明日の夜は
Thank you,
月が隠
beautiful
れる。
prostitute, eh, right? She was just gorgeous. Judging by the clouds, it seems the moon will be hidden behind them tomorrow
その
night.
タイミングに合わせて配達人をおびき寄せれば、正体がわかるかもしれない。
If we tempt the deliverer to come out then, we might be able to figure out who he is. Right. We've gotten the jar we need to. But I wonder why the flowers are
た
necessary.
だの目印だろう。深く考える必要なんてない。
It's just a marker, there's no need to think
けど
about it.
まじないを実行できるのは女に限られてる。
That said, it seems the only ones who can conduct that ritual are women.
そのあたりの女を金で雇うという手もあるが、事情を説明するのも面倒だしな。
He says this like she's not right beside him. It's possible for us to pay one of the women around here to do it for us, but it would be a pain to explain the situation. As he looked around, Mathis's eyes fell on me.
ああ、なんだ。
Ah, right.
ちょうどいいおとりがここにいるじゃないか。
A perfectly good bait right here. His eyes narrowed as he smiled.
僕の手伝いをするんだろう。ならこのお願いを聞いてくれるよな。
You said you're gonna help me, which means you'll do what I ask, right? I like that it took a second for the words to pop up. Yeah, I guess. I guess if that's what you want, my guy. Oh, wait, do we have 100? I forgot to double check. We have 99. Understood if that's the only way. I don't know what Mathis wants to hear at this point. I'm still want an ending, like MC needs to go off on everything and kill them like a true Wait! You want her to murder everyone? Mathis almost looked surprised by how I replied without
自分
hesitation.
が他の娼婦と同じように殺されると。
Do you not imagine you'll be killed like those prostitutes? I wouldn't be lying if I said I wasn't afraid, but I feel this is a much better plan than putting another woman in
ふ
danger.
ん。名前も知らない女たちを相手にお優しいことで。
A very kind gesture to some woman you don't even know. After explaining myself, I rushed after Mathis, who continued off to the cottage, leaving me in the dust. What the heck?
僕の手伝いをするんだろう。ならこのお願いを聞いてくれるよ。
Understood, but in exchange, if Barreau does show up, promise me you'll capture him. I don't want to see any more innocent women killed. MC music. Okay, I mentioned it in one of the Virche streams before. We've established over the course of the last year that my memory is bad. But you know what? That would be great. I would love a Carrie ending where she just kills everybody, where the entire Arpachel's on fire, not because people set fire to a field and killed themselves like idiots. I want her just burn an entire city down using her power. She becomes one with the Lycoris flowers. After explaining, I rushed after Mathis. On the way home, we spent some time at the Marché gathering information there as well and getting dinner, right? We got food. That way we have food tonight. It was late by the time we got back to our base. After dinner, that's right, and bathing ourselves. Wait, you don't have a kitchen, but you have a bath. I covered Mathis with the bed sheet and he quickly fell asleep. I was watching him all day today. Mathis really is acting strange, but I'm convinced that it's just for his obsession for revenge and not because this is his true self that he's finally showing. And I'm willing to forgive him because I'm stupid and I'm just going to continue to do what he tells me to because I'm dumb. It's the world we live in now. I quietly stepped outside, careful not to wake him, when Anku! Ah. Leah, Lucas. I was so mad at people for treating her badly. That was one of the reasons why I wanted her to go crazy. She is death, so let's prove that shit. Listen, what if... Now, I know we weren't a fan of Lucas putting us in a cage and force kissing us, but like, look at this man. What if, like, when he dies, she's just like, and Nadia. Nadia died. Like, Nadia, who is the sweetest thing in the world, she deserved everything. Like, imagine if, like, she's just like this, no one deserves to live now. And she just burnt it all down. She's like, I get it now. I can see. And she just burns everything to the ground. That would have been a good ending. I would have liked that ending. Where's my husband, Sheen? I don't think he shows up in Mathis's story. Do I remember Sheen in Mathis's story? Whew. I don't think I remember him popping up in his story. Although this is an alternate ending, so anything could happen. Lucas? I rushed over to my teacher who suddenly appeared before me. He was in a flashback. That's true. Well, he was in Mathis's story, but like the first 3 chapters. And that's when he's like, return the damn camera, you thief. What are you doing here? I hadn't told anyone where I'd been gone. Apart from Adolph and his team.
各施設を回っている最中に君と彼がこの小屋に入るのを見かけまして。
I was making my rounds through the orphanage when I saw you two enter that cottage. See, he has fangs. Why did he have to be terrible?
アドルフ君たちに事情を尋ね、心配になって様
Look at this
子を見
sweet
に行ったの
angel.
ですよ。
He's talking faster. Did someone talk to him? Did someone tell him, hey, you might be talking a little too slow? Or did they just speed up his voice? I was asking Adolph about what's been happening with you two, and I came here because I was worried. Oh, I'm sorry for worrying you.
謝る必要はありません。君なりにマティス君を支えるため最善を考え行動しているのでしょ。
Doesn't this feel faster? Doesn't it? Am I wrong? I remember Lucas taking so friggin' long to finish a sentence that I'd be like, boy, you talk like you have all the time in the world, like you're not 23 as we speak. Like, my guy, you should be dying. No need to apologize. You're just doing what you can to support Mathis in the best way possible, right?
それより、イブ君からも相談を受けました。マティス君の様子がどうにもおかしいとか。
But more importantly, Eve spoke with me as well about how Mathis has been acting strangely. Yes. I decided it was okay to share since he knew that much already. Plus, it's Lucas. What could Lucas do wrong? They heard your flat feedback. Dude, he was so slow. I'm like, Lucas, you are beautiful, but like, oh my god. I explained to Lucas the events that transpired, as well as Mathis's change in attitude over the course of a few days. Like, my guy. It's as if with each passing day he becomes a different person.
やはり
That must mean. Lucas fell deep in thought, as if convinced about something. Lucas, do you have any idea what might be happening?
はい。あくまで推測の域を出ませんが。
Yes, this is only a theory. Lucas seemed hesitant to speak, yet he explained clearly what was on his mind.
マティス君は今本当に別人になっているのではないでしょうか。
Also, I don't like wearing collars, guys. This is all for the bit right now. Could it be that Mathis is actually becoming a different person right now? Huh? What do you mean by that? Lucas, how could one person act two entirely different ways?
私の担当地域の前任の教師が残した記録に
On the records left by the former teacher of the area I'm responsible
今の
for.
マティス君と似たような問題を抱えている子の記録が記されていたんです。
There are notes of a child with similar issues of what Mathis is exhibiting right now, and his name is whatever Cloud, his brother. Camille? Camille.
ことあるごとに性格が変わり、口調も一人称も変化するとか。
With every little thing that happened, his attitude changes. Things like his tone and voice and how he refers to himself. That's exactly like the sudden change I've seen in Mathis. Could it be there's some sort of serious illness behind this?
いえ、健康上は一切問題がなかったようです。ですがその先生が調査と検証を繰り返した結果、
Also, shout out to him for like wearing literally a corset. Like that, you don't get that without a corset involved. Like there's definitely some boning in this top. No, it seems this child had no health issues at all. However, after further examination and experiments,
その子は表変したのではなく、人格そのものが切り替わっていることが判明しました。
is he saying that Mathis has DID? Do I not know what that stands for? Disassociation is dreadful. I don't know what that means. It was concluded that this child wasn't only growing and changing, but that he was switching into a different persona entirely. His persona.
例えるなら、一つの肉体に二つの人間の記憶がダウンロードされていると言うべきでしょうか。
Perhaps a way to explain it would be to say that two memories were downloaded into the same body. I had never seen or heard of anything like that before. However, considering the reality of the changes in Mathis, it was impossible for me to deny what Lucas was suggesting. Multiple personality. Oh, see, I was thinking multiple personality disorder, but I don't know what DID stands for.
もちろん断定はできません。
Of course, I cannot say for sure.
例の子の症状はマティス君の身に起きている異変と異なり、
The symptoms this child showed were different from the changes occurring in Mathis at present.
人格間の記憶の統合が不可能という特徴がありますから。
It's written that the child was unable to integrate memories between personalities. Does that mean he was unable to remember things from one persona while he was in the other?
ええ。A 君の人格が表に出ている間の記憶は B 君の人格に持ち越すことができないと記録には書いてありました。
Yes, memories of the active persona A aren't carried over to the dormant persona B, at least not according to the
で
records.
すが、マティス君はどの人格でもお兄さんを殺された記憶という明確な共通点を持っているのでしょ？
However, Mathis seems to have a clear point of connection between his personalities and the memories of his brother being killed, correct? Yes, whatever personality Mathis has, his need for revenge against Barreau has never disappeared.
なるほど。 では、似ているけれど別の症状ということなのかもしれませんね。
Still broken arm. I see in that case, it could be a different affliction that shares similarities with that disorder.
状況によっては、医師や教師と面談を行う必要が出てくるかもしれませんが。
Depending on the situation, it may be necessary to discuss this matter with doctors or other teachers.
今のマティス君を力ずくで連れて行くのは非常に危険です。
But it would be terribly dangerous to force Mathis to go to anyone as he is now. Go to anyone. I believe so too. And there's still the need to investigate Barreau. You know, Barreau was really bad. Barreau kills a bunch of people. He killed a lady recently right in front of her brother. Or her brother was crying and sobbing and so sad. I can't imagine what that would be like. How would you think you would feel if Nadia died today? Barreau. I'd like to stay with Mathis in the
わかり
meantime.
ました。何か異変があればすぐに知らせてください。
Understood. Let me know right away if anything unusual
マ
happens.
ティス君も君も私にとっては大事な教え子です。
Both you and Mathis are precious students of mine. I just remember when he was driving and Mathis was driving like a psychopath, and Lucas is all like, he really needs a driving lessons.
くれぐれも無理だけはしないでください
Please
ね。
take care not to push yourself. Right? After that, I gave Lucas the information we gathered, including that of the deliverer, and asked him to share it all with Adolphe. Pickups, oh god. After seeing Lucas off, I quietly headed back into the cottage. At the center of the room, Mathis lay there, still breathing quietly in his sleep. After gazing at his face for a moment, Leah? It hadn't been so long since he called my name in such a clear and kind voice. Mathis? Even though I knew he was just talking in his sleep, I couldn't help but answer him. I didn't know if he had heard me, but as soon as I spoke, his face softened and
僕の
relaxed.
世界で一番大切な大好きな人。
The most important person I care for so much.
復讐が終わって全部の罪を償ったら
Once I have revenge, when I atone for my sins,
一緒に
let's write a novel again. She's so easy. A tear fell from me. Yes, yes. I dried my eyes with my sleeve so that my tears wouldn't fall onto Mathis's cheek. That's a promise. It's a promise, okay? It had been so long since I smiled like this, and I quickly curled up next to him. I'll stay by your side no matter what, because I'm a simp. What came to mind was the truth just revealed by Lucas. A different persona. So that means the one who tore up the novel wasn't the original Mathis. Or it could be the original Mathis. Stop projecting. The Mathis cloud I had spent all this time with in the past is sleeping somewhere deep in this mind. And to me, that was the hope I had, that Mathis of the past might come back to me. The following night, under the faint light of the moon hidden by the clouds, I began the ritual just as I was taught. I raised the clear bottle filled with water and beautiful flowers to the sky. The flowers slowly swayed in the water as the starlight silently gleamed through them. Huh. Perhaps it was my fault for focusing on the bottle in my hand. Before I could react, someone moved behind me and put their hand on my shoulder. I felt my throat quivering. My instincts were demanding that I scream out loud for help, but if I were to do that now, this person would know that Mathis was nearby. I bit my lip and suppressed my urge to shout. I then prepared myself to be struck unconscious when...
動くな。
Don't move. And before that, Mathis snuck up to us without making a sound, pointing a knife at the person's
お前
back.
は誰だ？ブローか？
それとも別の人間か？
Who are you, Barreau or someone else?
正直に白状しなければ心臓を貫かれると思え。
If you don't fess up, the knife's going straight through your heart. I guess he was pressing it to hit their back as their grip on my arm grew tense.
待ってほしい。
Wait a
何か
moment,
妙な誤
you're
解をしていないか。
mistaken?
私はただ知り合いを見つけたので声をかけようとしただけなのだが。
She's someone I know, that's why I approached her.
知り合い？
You know her? That voice, Capuchin?
うん。あれから大事ないかな。
Yes, I hope you have been well. Wink wink, it's not like I came out here to kidnap somebody.
無償で診察をしてあげたいところだが。
I would offer to follow up on your condition,
ひと
but
まずナイフを下ろすよう。彼を説得してくれると助かるのだが。
before that, I must ask you to convince this man to lower his knife. A few minutes later, Mathis lowered the knife, and I bit after that Adolph and the others who I had reported to about the deliverer caught up to us.
まさかあんたたちがこんな作戦を取るとはな。
I never thought the both of you would go for a plan like this,
危
Leah.
険な真似はするなと。俺は散々言い聞かせたはずだが。
You remember that I told you not to put yourself in danger? I was never in danger. It's Capuchin. Capuchin's not dangerous. I'm not a Lycoris princess to him. He would never. I'm sorry. It just wasn't any other way.
いいのですよ。大方坊ちゃんがあなたに無理強いをしたのでしょう。
It's quite alright. I'm sure for the most part my master forced you into this.
結果的には無事だったしね。配達人も現れなかったし。
You were safe in the end though, and the deliverer didn't show up either. Are we sure? Here's the thing, right? This is the second time we've had this scene where the person showed up too soon. In the direction Eves looked, Mathis was glaring at Capuchin.
本当にお前はブローでも配達人でもないんだな。
You really aren't Barreau or the deliverer?
ああ。なんなら事件当時の行動を調べてくれても構わないよ。
You may look into my whereabouts during the
ここは
incident.
私の病院から一番近い海岸なのでね。稀に病院を抜け出した患者や医者が散歩に出ることがあるのだよ。
This is the closest shore to my hospital. Patients sometimes escape here, and our doctors take walks here as well.
で、見つけたら連れ戻せるよう巡回してたって？
So you were checking to see if there was anybody you needed to bring back?
うん。怪しい人影も特に見かけたことはないな。
Indeed, I've never seen anyone suspicious otherwise.
こんな目立つ格好で女性を誘拐するはずがないでしょうし、発言の信憑性は高いですね。
Of course, you'd say that, Jean. You know who Capuchin is. You wouldn't kidnap women in such a conspicuous clothing. The credibility of his testimony is fairly high.
結局振り出しに戻るのか。
So we're back to where we started then. I mean, honestly, wasn't Jean the guy? So, I mean, I guess. But Capuchin's not better. Capuchin's trash. Mathis kicked the sand in anger. Everyone else there had been updated by Lucas and couldn't hide their surprise or concern.
その坊ちゃん、そろそろ屋敷に戻られては。もう復讐をやめろとは申しませんから。
Master, won't you consider coming back to the mansion? I won't ask you to give up your plans for revenge.
断る。まだ調べるべき場所は山のようにあるからな。
There's still a mountain of places I need to investigate. But Mathis, we have limited money and food at the moment. How about we return to the mansion just to restock in the bare essentials? Mathis fell silent, possibly considering what I had said made sense.
だが今夜はダメだ。
Alright, but not tonight.
本当に配達人がいないのか。周囲を徹底的に調べてから戻る。
I'll go back once I'm completely sure that the deliverer really isn't here.
わかりました。では明日、屋敷にてお待ちしております。
Understood. Then I shall await your arrival at the mansion tomorrow. Yeah,
この
hear me
広い
out.
海岸を一人で調べるのも大変だろうし、俺たちも手伝うよ。
It'd be a lot of work to investigate this massive shoreline alone. Will help you out. Here's the thing. The deliverer likes ladies. He likes the ladies and not the gentlemen. So you're not gonna find him if you're looking for him. Plus, just because you find someone, as you've seen with Capuchin, does not mean they're going to be like, oh yes, it's me, I've been kidnapping women. How did you know?
そうだな。手分けして周辺を探すか。
Let's split up and look around the
じゃあ
area.
調査が完了次第今夜は解散ってことで配達人もこんな騒がしい連中がいる場所で誘拐なんてしねえだろうしな。
Once we're done, we'll call it a night. I'm sure the deliverer wouldn't try and kidnap anyone with this rowdy bunch here. That's right, there's too many people. Mathis. I accompanied Mathis and searched the coastline to the south. There seemed to be no one else around, and all we could hear were the waves splashing against the shore. At the very least, it doesn't seem like the deliverer is here. I was unsure whether to be happy that there would be no new victims tonight, or sad that we couldn't find the
意外だ
deliverer.
な。
I'm surprised.
お前みたいな臆病な女なら、あの男に肩をつかまれた瞬間、みっともなく泣き叫ぶかと思ってた。
Thanks, Mathis. I adore you too. I thought a cowardly woman like you would have started pathetically shouting and crying the moment the man grabbed your arm. I made up my mind with his comment. Of course, I was terrified on the inside, but if I screamed at that moment, the deliverer might have escaped.
それに
And I felt that you would come and save me right away. I knew you would. I felt that all I had to do was carry out my duty as fate.
確かに、ブローの可能性がある人間を僕が逃がすはずがない。
That's true. I wouldn't have let anyone who might be Barreau escape.
だが、どうしてそこまで
But how
僕の
can
こ
you
とを信じ
trust
られ
me
る
so much?
ここ数日の扱いを忘れたわけじゃないだろ。
There's no way you've forgotten the way I've treated you the past few days. Alright, let's see what my options are. It's like playing Mathis's route, but with a completely different Mathis. Yes, you've been scary. You're stronger than my fear. That feels... I might be afraid of you as you are now, but I can tell that your feelings towards your brother are getting stronger. I trust the feelings you have for your brother. You may never let the deliverer escape for some reason. I firmly believe that to be true.
何を分かったような口を。
Don't act like you know me.
けど、お前のためになんてうぬぼれられるよりははるかにマシ。か。
I suppose that's a far better than deluding yourself into believing I did it for you. As he heard my answer, Mathis began walking over to the rocks again.
もし、さっきのが本当に配達人で、ブローだったら。
If that really was a deliverer earlier and by extension
確
Barreau,
実に殺すことができていた。
I definitely would have been able to kill him.
その場
You
か
know
ら逃げ
what?
ずに
I wish you would have killed him
踏みとどまっ
anyways.
たお前のおかげで。
And it would have been thanks to you for standing your ground.
そのことだけは礼を言っておく。結局、人違いだったけどな。
I suppose I'll thank you for that, even though it didn't end up being him.
またおとりの必要があったら、その時もお前を使う。他の女よりはまだマシだからな。
I'll use you again the next time I need bait. It'd be better than using another woman after all. I suppose I could take that as Mathis offering me his gratitude. Even if there weren't the case, I was happy about him implying that I helped. Of course.
おとりをそんな嬉しそうに買って出るな。
You shouldn't be happy of volunteering to be bait, you fool. I couldn't help but reply in a manner unfitting of the situation. After that, we split up and looked around the surrounding area, and able to find anyone who might be the deliverer, we exchanged information with Adolphe and the others before parting ways. And then the change. The next day, Mathis awoke shortly after I did. Good morning! I'll get breakfast for us from the Marché right away, so please wait just a moment.
それはいいけど
That's fine,
何
but
してるの
what are you
君
doing? His personality changed again. Mathis' quiet voice was a stark change from his cold personality. Lucas's theory was gaining more and more
それ
credibility.
僕が破いた原稿用紙だよね
Those are the papers I tore up, right? Mathis spoke, looking at what was laid out in front of me. The pile of torn papers from his manuscript. Oh, this is his. He might criticize me again, but I didn't want to lie. I'm trying to put it back together, hoping we can read some parts of it still. I just couldn't throw it away.
そう
I see. He answered back, seemingly uninterested, and left to get water for washing his face. I should hurry and get the shopping finished. I bought some sandwiches, thinking they might be what the current Mathis would enjoy. And there I found Mathis reading the novel that I was trying to fix. Mathis,
今いいところなんだ邪魔しないで
I'm at the good part, don't interrupt me. Okay. His face was so intense as he flipped through the papers. He looked similar to the way he was in the past when he would focus so hard on whatever he was reading.
続きがない中途半端なところまでしか書いていないのか
There's no more, I guess these pages ended in the middle of this part.
この続きはどこにある
Where's the rest of it? Any pages that weren't torn were left at the mansion.
なんだそれじゃこの先の展開がわからないじゃないか
I won't know what happened next then. You don't remember what you wrote?
書いた覚えはあるけど復讐のことばかり考えてる間に大半を忘れた
I remember that I wrote it, but I forgot most of it after planning my revenge. God, I was busy, okay? Mathis put down the papers as he spoke, as he was making a plea to the author when him himself wrote the story. Are you curious about what happens next? I asked timidly.
暇つぶしとして読むなら悪くない出来だとは思ってる
I think it's not bad for something I only read to kill time. He didn't criticize his novel, the thing I was afraid of most. I felt somewhat happy about
何
that.
を笑ってるの
What are you smiling about? Oh, sorry. I was just happy that you took an interest in the novel. If you're wondering what happens next, would you like me to tell you what I remember? Mathis stood silently in response to my suggestion. I thought perhaps I was being overbearing about the novel when he grabbed my arm and pulled me to him. I'm at the good part. I want to read it too. It's an adventurer story. Look at Mathis. He then sat me down on the floor and covered me. This is not the floor. This is a bed. He sat me down on the floor and covered the bedsheet over our heads. Now, with nothing else in sight, Mathis's face was immediately in front of
朝
me.
食の準備なんて後でいい今は小説の
Okay,
続
but
き
what
だけ教え
kind
て
of sandwich was it? I just need to know. Is it an actual breakfast sandwich or is it like a turkey sandwich or like a ham sandwich? If it's a grilled ham sandwich, hot dog. I don't like ham unless it's like a hot ham sandwich. You can take care of breakfast later. Tell me what happened next in the
花
story.
園の地下深くにある死神たちが住む冥界へ突入した後主人公たちはどうなる
What happens after the protagonist enters Hades and sees the field of black flowers around them? I hurried and searched through my memories to respond. The protagonist encounters another death, who was nothing but friendly and formed a bond of friendship with him. He aids them in defeating the death that cursed our Michelle, but the death who was kind had a tremendous secret.
その秘密って
What is it? Mathis's eyes looked at me, begging me to continue. Those eyes, they looked so much like when he used to read books when he was with so much joy. It made me happy. It felt nostalgic. Filled with renewed enthusiasm, I continued. The death was originally a human who was sent to Hades after a curse was put on
元
him.
が人間そうか。だから町の作りについても詳しかったのか。
Originally a human? That's right. That's how he knew the town. How the town was laid out. Get it? Get it, Anku? Good catch. That was part of your foreshadowing earlier. And so after the kind death showed them a way to defeat the other death, he sacrificed his own life in order to allow the protagonist to escape back to the surface world. Back on the surface, the protagonists vowed to defeat their death while still mourning their friend's sacrifice. I paused, finished off a portion of the story on Mathis' side in thought after listening intensely to my story. His story.
まあ無駄死にではないね。主人公たちに突破口を残してるんだから。
Well, he didn't die in vain. He gave the protagonist a way
同
forward.
じ死神でも家事しか取り柄のない君とは大違いだ。
A pretty big difference from you, a death who's only good for housekeeping chores. Imagine death as a housekeeper as a show. I suppose. I think he was kind of strong and he was a kind, strong, wonderful death.
バカだな。嫌味だよ。
Don't be dumb. I'm mocking you. Oh. I hadn't seen it for so long, but just now I felt like I saw him smile
けど
naturally.
まあ語り方はなかなかだった。言葉に詰まることもなかったし。
She is not me then. You did tell the story well. You didn't stumble over your words or anything.
こんな長い小説の内容をよく覚えていたね。
I'm surprised you remembered the content of such a long novel. I'm surprised you forgot the content of such a long novel. It's because I was reading along and talking to you practically every day as you wrote it. It's a precious memory of mine. I'd never forget no matter what.
そんな思い出何の役にも立たないと思うけどね。
I don't think such memories would help with anything, though. That's not true. At the very least, they give me strength to continue living. Mathis pulled the sheets off of us, and we got off the floor.
朝食を食べ終わり次第、屋敷に必要な物資を取りに行くから。ついてきて。
After I'm done with breakfast, I'll be heading back to the mansion to get supplies I need, so come with me.
邪魔にならなければ、置いてきた原稿用紙を回収しても構わない。
As long as it doesn't get in the way, you can get the papers that were left behind. Yes, thank you. It seemed it was true. Even if his personality is changing, he's still Mathis. I don't think that's true. An earnest person who just couldn't help but love novels.
「お待ちしておりました、お二人とも。アドルフさんたちからことづてを預かっております。
I've been awaiting you both. I have a message from Adolf.
クーネの調査を行ったが、昨晩行方をくらませた女性は今のところいないとのことです。
He says he and his team investigated Cohen, and it hasn't heard of any women going missing since last night. I see, that's a relief.
今後はわからないけどね。
We don't know what'll happen in the future,
ここ
though.
最近は天気が安定しないから、月も隠れやすい。
The weather's been unstable the past few days, so it's easy for the moon to be hidden behind the clouds. We just happen to get lucky with this personality. Are we? Are we getting lucky?
ねえ、
He's just a
アド
kind
ル
of
フ
a
さんたちも
jerk.
それを懸念して、娼婦の方々に夜間の外出を控えるよう呼びかけているのですが。
Oof, did I shake the desk? I might have. As Adolph is keeping that in mind as well and telling all the prostitutes to stay indoors at night. Ladies, don't go out on the streets. Don't sell yourself for money in the darkness, only when the sun shines.
娼婦は夜に金を稼ぐ。そんな指示に従う女は誰一人としていないだろう。
Prostitutes make money at night. I'm sure not a single one of them would follow that order.
ええ、おっしゃる通りで。
Perhaps that may be so. And they have a positive impression on the ritual as well after
娼
all.
婦が外出をやめないというのなら、それに便乗してブローを狩るしかない。
The prostitutes won't stop going out at night. We just have no choice but to use that to our advantage to hunt Barreau.
坊ちゃん、まだ話は進んで。
Oh, my chat. Is it still lagging? Oh no, don't tell me chat's lagging. That'll make me cry. Last time it lagged, it discombobulated and started all over again. Not yet. Okay. It might not have been chat lagging. I might have just gotten too distracted. I'm not finished. Before Jean could stop him, Mathis left for his room to get his things.
言ってしまわれた。リュカ先生から人格について話は聞いていましたが、あそこまで別人のようになるとは。
He's gone. I heard from Lucas about his changing personality, but I did not think he would be this different.
あの様子では会話もままならないでしょう。あなたにもご迷惑をおかけしてしまい、申し訳ありません。
I'm sure a conversation wouldn't last very long with him right now. I apologize for all of the trouble we've put you through, Leah. No, not at all. I love being inconvenienced. Did you have any idea what about Mathis's unstable personality, Jean?
ねえ、ブローへの殺意も、車を運転するときに表変するのも、すべて坊ちゃんの個性だと思っておりました。
I simply imagined his bloodthirst for Barreau and his fits of rage when he drives the car were merely quirks.
主人の異変に気づけないとは、羊として情けない限りです。
I'm ashamed as his butler for not noticing such abnormalities in my master. It's not your fault. It's not like you created him. You didn't notice. I've never heard of anyone switching personalities either, or being created with like multiple personalities in a test tube.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
あなたのためにも、一刻も早く元の坊ちゃんが戻ってきてくださると良いのですが。
For your sake, I hope my master comes back to his normal self as soon as possible, because if he continues like this, he might turn into a bloodthirsty murderer like the memory he's infused with. I hope so too, but while I wish for Mathis to return to his normal everyday life, I don't want to criticize Mathis for who he is now. No matter which Mathis he might be, I want to be with him just as I promised. Even if he were to tell me he's no longer my friend. Jean? I wonder what might be wrong seeing him suddenly fall silent.
ああ、いえ、あなたの考え方にとても感激してしまいまして。
No, I was just so moved by your way of thinking.
あなたは強いですね。まるで新たに出会う坊ちゃん全員に心を開いているようだ。
You are very strong. It's as if you're opening your heart to all the new versions of my master you meet. All of the Mathises. The Mathises. It didn't make sense when put that way.
今夜は屋敷で一泊されるのでしょう。食事の準備は俺がやりますから、坊ちゃんに寄り添ってあげてください。
You'll be staying the night at the mansion, won't you? I'll prepare any food you need, so please remain by my master's side. Thank you very much. I'll take you up on that offer then. Are we staying? Because he made it sound like he was gathering stuff and going. Oh, Jean wants us now. He wanted us before. Because he wanted to see if he could make us into his former wife, I think. Or wasn't that what it was? Or make us his former, I don't remember the exact. Make us Mathis's view of his former. After I finished my conversation with Jean, I headed towards the attic to rejoin Mathis.
ナイフの手入れ道具や予備とか最低限の荷物はまとめた。
I gathered some extra things I need, like daggers and the tools to maintain them. How
それ
many
で
daggers can one room
例
full
の
of
小
books
説は
have?
どこにあるの？
Where's the rest of the novel? Right, I'll bring it right away. I watched Mathis smiling to himself as I saw how he was fidgeting. That was a joke. My apologies. My apologies. I couldn't infer from the text alone. Honestly, I wanted Jean the first time I saw him. I was like, can I date that guy? Like, what? And then I couldn't date that guy. And then that guy kind of turned into a psychopath. And then stuff. I watched Mathis smiling to himself as I saw how he was fidgeting. And after taking the paper that were put away in his desk, I handed them to him.
分厚いな。けどこのぐらいなら邪魔にはならないか。
That's awfully thick, I suppose. I suppose they won't get in the way. As he reasoned to himself that it was all right to carry the papers with us, Mathis flipped through the sheets. But then he came across a particular page. His eyes continued to stare as he held his breath. Mathis, is something the matter? Wondering what could be wrong, I looked at the page from the side. It was a conversation between the protagonist and the heroine after they resolved the incident in town. There was an event I didn't know about added on.
こんな僕と一緒にいてくれてありがとう。
Thank you for being with a person like
あな
me.
たの綺麗な言葉や心に僕は勇気づけられた。
Your beautiful words and heart gave me a courage I
僕は
needed.
あなたのことが一人の女性として
I
好きで
love
す。
you as a woman, Leah.
だからこれからもずっと
Please, from now on,
僕のそばにいて一緒に冒険をしてください。
let's have adventures together. Please stay by my side forever and ever and ever and ever. And then they lived happily ever after, and they never fought, and he never hurt her, and they were always kind to each other, and nobody ever choked her. Crazy, huh?
僕が屋敷を出る前に書き加えた文。
Is this what I wrote before leaving the mansion? It seems he had no recollection of this. The Mathis who stood right in front of me and muttered at a loss for what to make of this. I read over what it said one more time, and I cried. Suddenly began to shed tears. If he really meant what he said and used the word of love with a confession to me, then who is this imposter? I'm so happy. But even more than that, I'm sad that I wasn't able to hear it from him directly.
そんなに平和ボケした僕からの告白が嬉しいんだ。
I'm surprised you're so happy over a confession from me when I was so dumb and docile. Huh? I looked up hearing a sharp tone. There I saw Mathis' scowling face.
神湯兄さんを死なせた。役立たずなのに。
He's the worthless person who let Camille die. Listen, your memories might be constructed, but you did walk in and he was already dead. You can't prevent something that you weren't even present for.
仇が蘇ったことにも気づかず、のうのうと暮らしていたふぬけなのに。
Not even realizing his killer came back, he was living life like a clueless, spineless coward. Mathis violently threw the papers on the desk and grabbed me by the neckline of my shrug. What? He's choking her, as if spitting out all the emotions he had in
ど
him.
うしてそんな奴からの言葉で君は見せたことのない笑顔を浮かべる。
I've never seen you smile like that. How can you possibly smile at the words of someone like him?
今の僕たちの方が確実に大切なものを守る力を持っているっていうのに。
Oh, is Mathis Venom now? What is this when we're so much more capable of protecting what's important to us? Mathis, his words. They were meant to criticize his own self, whom he thought of as a completely separate person. So he knows he has multiple personalities. He knows he's projecting a different personality right now. Yeah, he's aware. They're just all named Mathis. You have multiple personality disorder, but they all have the same name, so they don't even realize it. I had no idea what about my tears made him so angry, but grabbing Mathis's arm, I desperately tried to form the words I wanted. Every Mathis clod is precious. Even if the Mathis of the past never comes back. Then, still, even if that's true, I don't want to forget the one who wrote such beautiful words. Hello, Silly.
いつも美味しい料理を僕にいつもたくさんの愛が詰まっている僕はもうあなたと共に過ごす今が
That was a flashback. That was a flashback, and I think that was even one of the title names we used. Mathis is timid and shy, but he was kinder than anyone else and shared his smiles with me. Because of that, I was able to like myself a little after hating myself for so long. Yeah, take that, cute outfit, Bunny. How was the concert? It was good. I didn't stay like in the mix of it for too long. After he did the song from Kim Possible, I was like, I'm good. My friend stayed in the mix of it, and I just kind of went to like the area where you can sit and still hear. I did not know that Jesse McCartney wrote the song Bleeding Love until he sang it and said, yeah, I wrote this in 2009 or something like that. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? He wrote this? I didn't know he wrote this. But yeah, it was a good concert. We're just so tired. Going from work and then going to a concert, it's a lot. I usually take the day off for a concert, and I intended to. But then they said I had to work that day. As his breath caught in his throat, Mathis let me go. He picked up the papers to throw them onto the ground. Yet paused for some reason, his face twisted in pain. As if he wanted to throw them all away but couldn't. Mathis, where are you going?
聞き込みだ。夜には戻る。
To ask around in town. I'll be back tonight. Then I'll come with.
いらない。ついてくるな。
I don't need you. Don't follow me. I swear, Mathis. You are throwing a hissy fit.
君はこの部屋で無力なマティスクロードとの記憶に浸っていればいい。
You can sit here in the memories of that weak and useless Mathis cloud. After placing the papers on the desk, Mathis went down the steps out of the attic. How utterly annoying, yet at the same time I didn't get it.
どうして僕は自分自身にこんなにも。
Why do I feel that way towards my own self? I don't get it. Why is he having a hissy fit and calling himself weak? Because he's currently not acting like his former self. He's acting like a different person right now. And his former self, in his mind, watched his brother get murdered and didn't do anything. And then had the audacity. Then he had the audacity to act happy because he thought his brother's killer was dead. And so he had like a mental breakdown when he found out his brother's killer wasn't dead. And this is the personality that came from that. And so he's mad at his former self for one, for being happy. How dare. And for having been present at the death of his brother. Classic. You aren't you when you're hungry. Have a Snickers. I don't have Snickers. I have... Do I actually have a Kit Kat finally? I kept picking this bag trying to grab a Kit Kat. I have a Kit Kat. Why is it that I feel this way towards my own
殺して
self?
しまいたいと思うほどの憎しみを抱いているのか。
Parentheses are for internal thoughts, and he's saying these out loud. I feel hatred so strong that it makes me want to kill him. You can't kill yourself. Well, I mean, you can, but you shouldn't.
あんな表情初めて見た。
I've never seen that look on her face before. Why don't you tell her she's cute sometime? Maybe you'll see it. Jeez. The current me couldn't write an exciting novel. He did save the current me, so he's also aware. Or even make her smile. Well, that's... You literally call her trash and useless constantly. What are you expecting her to smile about?
あの子が僕のそばにいるのはかつての弱い僕を取り戻すためだ。
She stays by my side in order to get the weaker me from the past.
それさえ済めば今までの僕は用済み。
How can you be so self-aware? Once she does, there'll be no need for the current me. That's
それは
what I wonder.
無性に
That's so sad. All the memories I had of our time together were screaming at me. Sorry, I thought I was getting a memory change. I got chocolate on me.
痛いな。こんな人混みの中、どこに目をつけて歩いてるんだ。
It's crowded here. Why don't you watch where you're going? The guy who bumped into my shoulder suddenly gave me attitude.
うるさいな。
Shut up. Doesn't he sound a little like Ruki when Ruki says urasai? This is why they're pushing the MC to accept his personality? I don't know. This is though you marry the actual Gene version of Lucas, Mathis, not Lucas. Lucas is not there. My rage against everything exploded right there.
何を
What are you? Punch him. I grabbed him by the shoulders, made a fist, and letting my rage take over, punched him in the cheek with every bit of strength I had.
なんだ喧嘩か
Is that a fight? A crowd gathered around me and the man spat up blood and fell. There weren't only ordinary citizens
貴
there.
様何をしている
You there, what are you
ここが
doing?
我らの巡回区域だと知っての行いか
You dare doing something like that while we're on patrol here? Two royal guard soldiers rushed towards me and I knew I couldn't fight them unarmed. Assuming I could survive a night of detention, I put my hands up in a gesture of surrender. Interesting. He's just going to have so many problems.
はい。わかりました。我が主が多大
I
なご迷惑をおかけ
apologize
し、
deeply for the trouble my
申し
master
訳あ
has
りません。
caused. The transmitter on the mansion suddenly rang, and after finishing the conversation, Jean gave a heavy sigh as he faced me.
坊ちゃんの行方がわかりました。シュディのマルシェで通行人に暴行を働き、この衛兵に捕らえられてしまったそうです。
The master was found. It seems he's been captured by the royal guards for an act of violence on someone at the Chedes Marché.
今は牢屋に拘留されているとのことで。
At the moment, he's detained in a cell. What? I couldn't help but exclaim at the news I was given. Violence? Why would he do such a thing?
肩がぶつかったからだそうですよ。おそらく虫の居所が相当悪かったのでしょう。
Gene hasn't fixed him yet. Yeah, he hasn't stayed the night yet. You can't fix him unless he's sweeping. It appears it's because he bumped shoulders with someone. I assume he may have been particularly irritated at the time. That might very well have been because I let him go while he was still angry.
幸い相手は軽傷。
Nah.
払うべきものを払えば、今夜にでも解放いただけるでしょう。
He's been violent with you. Why are you surprised? Honestly, she's surprised by everything. She was surprised that Lucas showed up in the middle of the night. She was surprised that he wanted to read the book. She was surprised that he was mean to her. Fortunately, the other party involved suffered only minor injuries. I can pay for his release
です
tonight.
から、あなたが気にすることは何もありません。
So please, there's nothing you need to worry about. But if I'd only been by Mathis's side.
喧嘩に巻き込まれていたでしょうね。人格の変動は確かに厄介な症状ではありますが。
I'm sure you would have been involved in the fight as well. The change in his personality is certainly a troublesome condition.
言動に伴う責任は他の誰でもなく、その時の坊ちゃんのものです。
But the one burdened with the responsibility of his actions is none other than the master. Just him? Just him, Jean?
あなたが無理に背負う必要はないと俺は思いますよ。
I don't feel you have to force that burden onto yourself. That may be true. Why don't you force it onto yourself? Just then the transmitter rang again just as Jean was about to put it away.
なんでしょう。坊ちゃんがまた何かしでかしたのでしょうか。
I wonder what this could be. Perhaps something happened to the master again.
はい、クロードです。
Yes, this is the Cloud residence. Jean answered as if he had a headache, but what came through the other end wasn't the voice of a royal member.
じゃあ、彼女もそばにいる？
Jean, is Leah around? Eves, for you, anything.
昨日の作戦以来でしょうか。坊ちゃんに何かご用事が？
I believe you haven't spoken since the search last night. Do you need the master as well?
これからシアンさんにブローのリライバー化の件について尋ねに行くつもりなんだけど。
I was about to go see Sheen and ask him about Burrow's relivers.
よければマティスたちも一緒にどうかと思って。都合はどうかな？
I was wondering if she and Mathis wanted to come. Are they busy? Mathis is in jail. I felt it was a good suggestion, but Mathis is a bit preoccupied, so we won't be able to go to Cernervalilu right now. That's how it's pronounced. Don't question it. You can go see Sheen yourself, and I was about to finish telling him to go on without us.
いえ、どうかあなたはイブさんと合流なさってください。
No, please, I implore you, go meet with Eves and go with them so I can plug Mathis into a machine without you noticing.
坊ちゃんのことは俺にお任せを。日が変わる前には引き取りに行ってきます。
Leave the master to me. I'll have him back before the day is over. Huh, but Jean covered the transmitter so his voice couldn't be heard through it.
さっきの今で坊ちゃんに会うのも気まずいでしょう。
I'm sure it'd be awkward to meet with him after what we just heard. Okay, but like, doesn't change much.
何か進展があり次第、通信機にてご報告いただければ。
You can call me through the transmitter if you find out anything in particular. I sat and thought in a moment as he replied with an awkward smile. All right, if anything happens on your end too, please contact me through Eve's transmitter anytime.
シアン様にもどうぞよろしくお伝えください。
Understood. Please give Monsieur Brophy my regards as well. I offered my gratitude over and over to Jean for being considerate of me and replied to Eves that I'd come along. And then I left the mansion heading for Cherneverlu, where he was waiting for me. That's how it's pronounced. However, right as I reached the institute, the hot, is that you? I saw the sight of a bloodthirsty mob crowded in front of the building.
皆さん、どうか押さないで落ち着いてください。
Hi, Hibiki. Everyone, please, no pushing. I need you all to calm down.
一人ずつ来てください。中に入るには誓約書の確認が必要です。
One at a time. One at a time. Please follow me. We need to check your pledges before you can enter.
契約書ならここにあるわ。早く確認してよ。
I have my pledge right here. Hurry up and check it. What the?
こんにちは、二人とも。
Well, hello, you too.
ここは見ての通りの状況なので、 研究所に何か用事があるのなら日を改めた方がよろしいかと。
As you can see, the Institute seems to be in chaos, so perhaps it's best you return another day. Lucas?
これは何がどうなってるんですか？
What's going on here?
国立研究所でこんな騒ぎが起きるなんて。
I never expected for a crowd this big to be gathered.
ここにいる人たちがいつこの衛兵に拘束されるかわからないですよ。
If they keep this up, there's no telling when they'll be arrested by the royal guard.
私も皆さんにそう訴えたのですが、聞く耳を持っていただけなくて。
I said that to the crowd as well, but they don't seem to want to listen.
何でも研究所のサーバーに保管されていた
Something about the Institute server.
クローン体に移行するための記憶データの一部が盗み出されてしまったそうです。
It seems a portion of the memory data used to transition into clone bodies were stolen.
装置を壊されたとかじゃなく、バックアップが盗まれるなんて、そんなことありえるんですか？
Not the devices being broken, someone actually snuck in and stole the backup data?
ありえるからこそ、こんなにも人々が怒り狂っているのでしょうね。
Someone did indeed, which is why the people have formed such an angry crowd today. According to Lucas, a certain man came to the Institute to fill out the required paperments for his family to become relivers. It was then that one of the researchers found out that their memory data went missing. This was something that had never happened before, so the chaos that ensued wasn't a surprise. They then went into a full investigation and discovered something they didn't expect. Not only did they lose a large amount of backup, but it was also replaced with fake data. It became clear that the data must have been stolen. Oh, I wonder who stole the data. Yeah, who would take data? That's crazy. Think they shoved it onto the same person, maybe? Rumors immediately spread, which led to the crowd of people trying to find their way inside for answers. Hang on, I have so many cups here right now. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What have I done? What am I doing? What the hell are you guys doing? We worked our asses off to save money to become relivers. I get hit by the curse at any moment, so you guys need to hurry and restore my backup data. My friend didn't make it in time because of what happened. He had plans for his reliver life. After Barreau killed his brother, Korun killed Barreau. He was finally gonna live a peaceful life without hatred.
うわ、あれじゃそのうちダハトたちが押しつぶされちゃうよ。
At this rate, they're going to end up trampling Dahat and the
ごめん、
rest.
ちょっと手助けしてきてもいいかな。
Leah, you mind if I help you out? Go ahead.
私もお手伝いしましょう。
Let me help too.
君は巻き込まれないよう離れた場所で待っていてください。
You should stand back so you're not in harm's way. Thank you so much for that, Lucas. Hearing that the memory data was stolen doesn't feel real at all. In addition, it sounds like the genetic component and backup data wasn't stolen. Why did this person steal only the memory? Maybe they want to read the records of someone's past.
そんなこと不可能に決まっているだろう。
Isn't it obvious that what you said is impossible? There he is in all his wonder with his butt forward facing. Like, who walks around like this? I literally jumped. Sheen? How long has he been there?
なんだ。人の顔を見た途端幽霊を見たような顔をして。
What? You look like you've seen a ghost.
今日の訪問を申し出たのはお前たちの方
Hi, Asia's been there. She's watching Metaphor, but she's here. Let me remind you that you're the one who asked to see me today. That's why I'm surprised to see you here, Sheen. Aren't you going to do something about the commotion?
知らん。データが盗まれたのは1年前にバカな王族どもが。
I don't care. It's the stupid royal family's fault for tampering with security a year ago.
俺の弱みを握ろうとセキュリティを強引に解除したのが原因だ。
They tried to force their way through the system to find something to use against me.
なぜ火のない俺が奴らの尻拭いをしなければならん。
So I have no reason to cover them for their pathetic attempt to beat me. Well, now that you put it that way. It made sense. It was the royal family's fault, which was why the royal guard was noticeably absent. Sheen, my love, it's been a while. Yeah, look at him. Look at him back to just right in your face all the time. So many straps. This man rolls out of bed and then he looks like this. Like, seeing that I understood what he said, Sheen began to speak more about the situation, probably out of boredom.
記憶のデータという言葉だけを聞けば。
Just looking at what memory means as a word impresses a certain
大
concept.
抵の人間は好きに振り返ることのできる本のようなものを想像するだろ
Most people will probably see memory as some kind of book that you can go through whenever
う。
you
だが
want.
実際は全く違う。
But that's an incorrect concept. There was no words or pictures. Stored in the Institute servers were enormous amounts of memories formulated into matrices of ones and zeros. What that meant was that the memories weren't stored as words or imagery, only clones into which the proper data was downloaded could read and decipher them into memories. But the genetic data that was needed along with the memory data wasn't stolen for some reason. Does that mean that there's nothing to gain from stolen data? If I recall correctly, downloading data that doesn't match the clone's body will only cause bugs that could ruin the brain.
普通のクローン体にダウンロードすればそうなるな。
Why are these men so damn pretty? Like, I mean, I wasn't looking at his ass at all. Well, listen, that's a shame. I'm looking at his outfit and his posing. Like, he just rolls out of bed and looks like this. Like, he's got a shirt on that is literally V-cut here and like still has a collar. Like, does that make sense? And he's wearing so many straps. That would be the case if they were downloaded to a normal clone. Just as Sheen opened his mouth to continue, he saw the others coming back to us, with that commotion seemingly calmer now. After that, Lucas had left us, and we were guided to Sheen's laboratory.
リライバー技術はこの研究所が独占している。他に一切の例外はなく、俺が言うさ。
The Institute has a total ownership over Reliver technology. This will never change. I won't allow it.
だがブローがリライバーとして蘇ったと仮定すると、
That said, assuming Barreau did revive as a
この
Reliver,
研究所に所属、あるいは過去にしていた何者かが
it would mean an Institute employee, past or present, is
廃
involved.
棄予定だった古い装置を盗み出し、悪用している可能性が高いだろう。
Odds are likely that they stole obsolete models of my devices and are abusing them on their own ends.
それを実行した人物に心当たりはありますか？
Would you have any idea who might have done that?
対立する感情派の連中から俺を目の敵にする王族まで ありすぎて特定に時間がかかる。
From opposing factions to the royal family who sees me as their sworn enemy, there are so too many to single out in particular.
せめてもう少し手がかりがあればな。
If only I had more clues. Speaking of clues, could a deliverer be involved in since he might be connected with Virche?
そうだね。おまじない以外のことで何か新しい情報があればいいんだけど。
Yeah, I wish we had some more information about him other than the ritual. New information. Oh, that's right. Uh-huh.
それに他のことおまじないよ。
Someone at the bar testified that a lot of the missing women were pregnant. I murmured my comment, not really even thinking about it.
妊娠だと。
Pregnant. Sheen stopped. After standing in silence, thinking for a few seconds, he manipulated a screen at his hand with incredible speed, reading all the words that it displayed at a tremendous speed.
なるほど、そういうことか。
I see, so that's it.
どうやら記憶データ紛失の犯人はその配達人とやらの可能性が高いな。
It appears it's highly probable that the one who stole the memory data is this deliverer. Stole the memory data.
さっきの騒ぎの原因ですよね。それが配達人と何か関係があるんですか？
The cause of all that commotion just now, does that have something to do with the deliverer?
大ありだ。というよりも、盗んだ記憶の使い道があるのがその配達人しかいない。
Most certainly. To be precise, the deliverer is the only person who would have use for the stolen memories.
死神の娘、俺が話した記憶データの話は覚えているな。
Maiden of Death. Do you remember what I told you about memory data? Yes, that any stolen memory data would be useless if downloaded into a clone of a different person, right?
それはあくまで普通のクローン体にダウンロードした場合だ。
That's if you downloaded it into a regular clone. Back to this, like he's just like... Imagine dramatic posing in every conversation you have. Like, you just suddenly turn and you're like, yes. And then... Oh god, Sheen is literally my phone wallpaper right now. My phone wallpaper hasn't changed in a couple years, if I'm not lying. I got Sakuna as this still, that's Sakuna. And then if I open up my phone, it's Suga from BTS, and if I unlock my phone, because this is me, it's Jungkook from BTS. And it's been that for a while. I have to update them. I'm just tired, yo. Just so tired. Although I guess I could make it Kirby. As we wondered what he was talking about, Sheen displayed an image and began to explain.
胎教ぐらいは聞いたことがあるか？
I take it that you heard of prenatal education. Like how a pregnant woman might play music to tell stories for the fetus to listen to. I heard those kind of things can affect the baby's personality and even
そ
their
れと同
memory.
じ理屈だ。
Exactly.
生命になる前のとある細胞に記憶のダウンロードという名の胎教を施してやれば。
This suggests downloading memory data to a cell as part of its prenatal education before life is fully formed. Knowledge to assist parents in raising their newborns, as well as a method to help babies in utero. This may include reading books or playing music to help stimulate the brain's development of fetuses. You're saying it's possible to have a baby born with someone else's memory?
ああ、だがそれもごくわずかな上に長持ちはしない。
Indeed, but only a very small portion which won't last long. Oh, I saw that. I saw that. Oh, I didn't think about enjoying this. Oh, no, they don't have different facial expressions. I liked that in Cupid Parasite where they had different facial expressions to match it on here. He explained that the person's body and mind would notice that the memory didn't match the body
俺か、
genetically.
俺と同等の研究者しか実現が不可能な上。
None of the researchers, myself included, have proved that concept in reality.
手間に対し利益は皆無に等しい。
Compared to the effect and gain, it is particularly nothing.
俺に目をつけられる危険を負ってまで、そんな無駄な実験を行おうとする輩はいないだろうな。
There would be no merit in performing an experiment so worthless when all it would do is draw attention and put me at risk.
と、ついさっきまでは考えていたんだが。
That's what I was thinking, until just now. Sheen shrugged his shoulders and continued.
とある細胞とは、妊娠した女の腹に宿る、胎児に至る前の胚細胞。
There are these particular cells, embryonic cells, which reside in a woman's uterus in the cell masses of blastocity. He went on to explain that cells in this state could have the memories of someone else downloaded into
それ
them.
に強引なダウンロードを行った後、ゼロから生まれた人工的な生命を
These people who have memories forcefully downloaded into them are artificial beings created from
ホ
nothing.
ムンクルスと俺はそう
Oh
呼んでいる。
yeah! In other words, a homunculus. We remember. Homunculus. A homunculus? The sharp chill ran down my back. After hearing his explanation, I suddenly had a guess at what he was trying to say.
狙われてるのは妊娠している可能性の高い女性ということは
The people who are being targeted are women with a high possibility of being pregnant, which means the deliverer is trying to make a homunculus with embryonic cells? I struggled to speak as I felt my face go pale, and Sheen quietly nodded. To put it simply,
妊婦の腹を裂き、胚細胞を取り出して利用しているということだろうな。
he cuts open these pregnant women, taking out the embryonic cells for his use. I thought as much. Being able to escape this country was just a fantasy. You can't escape hell. That's right.
ホムンクルスは長持ちこそしないが、記憶データを組み合わせてダウンロードすることで、偽りの記憶を得られる。
Homunculi doesn't last long, but you can give them false memories by combining memory data and downloading it into them.
そしてちょうど2年前、バックアップのない記憶を再構築したいという依頼が匿名で舞い込んでたはずだ。
Around 2 years ago, an unfamiliar person approached me to request the reconstruction of memory data without a backup.
じゃあその線から怪しい人物を洗い出せば
So if we follow that trail to find anyone suspicious along the
配
way,
達人の正体は暴けるだろう。訪問ログと申請書の筆跡を確認する。2日待て。
we find this deliverer. A handwritten writing analysis between our visitor's log and the archive should take no more than 2 days.
わかりました俺たちも引き続き調査を続けます
Got it. We'll continue our investigation too. Knowing what became of those pregnant women filled my chest with pain, but it was the right idea to come talk to Sheen.
アドルフやジャンたちにもすぐに共有しよう
Let's share this information with Adolph and Jean too. You know Jean? No? Okay, just me. It was already dark out when we left the institute. After parting with Sheen, we quickly shared the information we had with Adolph over the transmitter. And after that, we shared the exact same report to Jean.
なるほど。それは確かに有益な情報ですね。
I see. This is indeed valuable information.
引き取りの手続きが完了次第、坊ちゃんにも俺から伝えておきます。
Once I'm finished with the paperwork to recover the master, I'll tell him of it as well. Thank you very much. Finishing our conversation, I gave the transmitter back to Eves. We proceeded to discuss the meeting with Adolph and the others when...
待て、死神の小娘。お前は今クロード家に仕えているのだったな。
Wait, Maiden of Death, you work for the Clyde family again, right? I turned around as Sheen stopped me.
あの羊に伝言がある。一言一句互えず伝えろ。
I want you to relay a message to that butler, word for word. Gene, of course, what do you want me to say? Return the fucking camera.
警告はした。
I warned you.
今も持っているだろうカメラを速やかに俺の元へ返せ。
I know you still have that camera. Return it while you still can. Camera? He was referring to the camera Gene carried with him all the time. Did you lend it to Gene by chance? I don't recall him ever saying it before. The way you phrased that message makes it sound like Gene stole it from you.
ようなも何も奴が持っているカメラは間違いなく
As it happens, the camera currently is in his possession.
数年前に研究所から盗まれたものだ。
Was stolen from the Institute a few years ago. I couldn't absorb the many shocking revelations he shared with me. I burned a log in my fireplace and now my home smells like a campfire. Nice. Oh my gosh, he needs s'mores. He said it was stolen, but Gene said before that he got that camera through connections. Perhaps his camera just looks similar to one that was stolen. Sheen said that it wasn't possible. I'm gonna skip because this is a repeat. Yeah, they're hard to find. Even prominent figures don't have them. He was curious as to how Gene had a photograph. He discovered the records were tampered with. That one camera went missing, a very rare item. It can't be, but why? Why was Gene lying? Very hard. I'm sick, so I'm just trying to not be bored out of my mind. Oh no, can't keep my eyes off the flames. You know what? The cackling sounds great. No. I anxiously looked down at the homunculus sleeping in front of me.
ホムンクルスのことに気づかれた。シアンブロフュアーズが相手じゃ、犯人が俺だとすぐに特定される。
Oh yeah, that's right. He knows about the homunculus. With Sheen Brophy on the trail, he'll find I'm the culprit soon.
やっとロザリーを。あの時の心のまま蘇らせる準備ができたってのに。
Imagine Gene lying. I can't. Like, why would he do that? He's such a good guy. So forgiving and caring and lovely. And wouldn't keep a woman locked up in a crystal thing. Who are we dating? Never played or watched this game. So technically, Mathis, the sleeping dead guy, the homunculus, if you will, is the guy. This is his route. But currently, he's presenting us with a different personality than his normal personality. Thus, we're going through some things. I'm finally ready to bring back Rosalia with all of her feelings intact. This is actually a sequel to a game we've already played. I punched the wall and let out some of my anger. Then, as if waiting for me.
いや、ずいぶんと追い詰められているようだね。協力者殿。
Oh, Capuchin. Hello there. You seem quite frustrated, my dear supporter. I heard the voice of the mad scientist who was almost mistaken for the deliverer the other day.
カプシーヌ。何の用だ。
Sorry, Capuchin. What do you want?
まさか俺を笑うためにわざわざ連絡してきたわけじゃないよな。
I hope you didn't call just to laugh at me.
まさか。
Of course not.
君が捕まり、人工的な記憶の構築の研究が止まってしまえば、こちらも致命的な被害を受ける。
You can find the VODs of the OG game on YouTube. Yeah! I'm also not sure if I should make a new thing for the Virche, because I did Radiant Tell all together. I did the fanfare and Radiant Tell in the same playlist, so I'm thinking of just adding this to the same playlist. If you've caught it, it would halt the research of artificially constructing memories, which would be a deadly blow to me.
ということで、久しぶりに連絡をよこした支援者と君を救う手立てを考えた。
With that said, I've come up with the means to save you and my supporter. who had stayed silent until recently.
何
What? I wasn't as if I blindly trusted this man, but I was desperate for whatever help I could get for Rosalie's revival. I decided to stay quiet and listen.
簡単なことだ。要は君に容疑がかかる前に配達人を捕らえてもらえばいい。
That cursed 12-hour stream. Oh man. It's long and it has some great twists. It is very long. At the time, I think it was the longest game I'd ever played. I think it was 80 hours, wasn't it? It was something crazy. Wasn't it? Because we did a 12-hour stream. And that was because I was like, we're going to finish this today. And it accidentally turned into 12 hours. It wasn't intentional. It just, that's how long it took. It was actually more than 12 hours. Because if it was 12 hours exactly, I could have got it in one VOD. It was longer than 12 hours, so I had to break it up in 2 VODs. It's simple. We need to capture the deliverer from before you're wanted for anything.
何を言ってるんだ。配達人は俺なんだぞ。
It was 80 something hours. What are you talking about? I'm the deliverer.
それじゃあ俺が捕まるってことに。
You're just asking me to be captured.
君は愛ゆえに盲目になり、自らが素晴らしく有用な研究をしていることを忘れているようだ。
Plus trying to get a lot of endings. It's not my fault. The endings had CGs. We talked about this. I only care about CGs. I'm a CG person. If the bad ending has a CG, plus the Dahat ending, I call it the Dahat ending. That was its own. That took over an hour. That man can monologue. It seemed your love has made you blind to the wonderful research you yourself have been conducting. I'm not blaming myself either. I'm just saying, like, oh my gosh, it took so long. Like, there was so much. There was so much reading.
要は正真正銘、本物の配達人をその手で作り出せばいい。
Essentially, you need to only create the true deliverer with your very own hands.
必要な材料はすべて手元に揃っているのだから。
The materials you need are already at your disposal after all. What if they frame Mathis to be the deliverer? I knew it without even being able to see him. His face must have been twisted in a wicked smile. Maybe. Leah. I want to see you. I feel so bad for Mathis. Mathis had a bad life.
どこにいるの？
Where are you?
僕たちを見つけて。
Come find us. We are Venom.
一緒にまた笑い合いた。
I want to laugh with you again. I stood there taken aback at the truth that Jean had stolen the camera when...
なんだかシュディの方が騒がしいような。
Sounds like there's a commotion over in Shadis. Why is it always the worst ideas? As Eve was talking with the hot, a loud buzzing came from Eve's chest. Is something the matter?
アドルフからの緊急通信だ。全員に聞こえるように音量上げるね。
It's an emergency signal from Adolf. I'll raise the volume so you can all hear.
二人ともまだセルネボルにいるなら今すぐ移動しろ。
Both of you, if you're both still in Chernevel, hurry up and get over
シュ
here.
ディで娼婦の死体が見つかった。
The body of a prostitute was found in Shadis.
しかも犯人らしい人影が逃げたのを何人かの住人が見ているらしい。
And it sounds like some oh, what if they're trying to frame Lucas? That'd be work. It's gotta be Mathis. It's gotta be. And it sounds like some residents around here saw someone running away who might be the culprit.
娼婦の方が失踪したんじゃなく殺されたんですか？
The prostitutes weren't missing but killed.
海
Dahat,
辺で
get
も
with
ない
this.
ですし、聞いていたおまじないの話とだいぶ違うんですけど。
This isn't near the shore. It's completely different from what I heard about the ritual. I know, Hibiki, I know. As we stood in our surprise, Hugo gave us details as to where the incident occurred.
ここから近いな。クルーンに小娘。どうせお前らは現場に向かうんだろう。
It's close to here, Karun, Maiden. I'm sure you're both heading that way.
急ぐなら研究所の車を使っても構わんぞ。運転手も貸してやる。
I can lend you the institute car if you're in a hurry. I'll even provide you a driver. Yeah,
その代わり、配達人を捕らえたら、俺のところに連れてこい。聞きたいことが山のようにあるからな。
I was wondering where that voice was from. Oh, Dahat. Yeah, Dahat is Hibiki. This is actually the game I fell in love with Dahat. I love Dahat. Dahat is Hibiki. If you learn more about Dahat, you will see how well Hibiki is for the same voice actor. I'm just gonna leave it at that. In exchange, if you capture the deliverer, bring him to me. I have a great deal of questions to ask him. We're gonna skip a little bit because the car's gonna stop in front of us. It's gonna roll down. He's gonna be screaming. You're the driver from that almost ran into Jean back in the Marche. I'll be safe this time. We're gonna skip this because this is just how we learn that the driver drives like Mathis. I nodded and hurried into the car. Close the door. Rev the engine. Don't bite your tongue. Before I could say anything, what appeared to be the most advanced model of electrical car owned by the Institute sped off so quickly that it could kill anyone who got in its way. I never expected a driver who'd drive like Mathis. I don't think similar is the right word. It was as though Mathis himself was at the wheel. I know we're in a hurry, but can you please slow down? Don't talk to me, I need to focus. His style of speech sounded familiar as well. I want to kiss Sheen. I'm not sorry at all. I'm gonna be unhinged for Sheen every time I see him. If I recall, it's gonna be Mathis, Lucas, Sheen, Eves, Adolphe, Anku. Although, we'll see. I'm doing it in the order I had to do it in last time. We're just following the same road. Adolphe, I could have done Adolphe early. Whatever, it's fine. We're fine. Can maybe still do Adolphe early. We'll see. We'll see. We're still early. Sheen's far away because Sheen's high on the roster. You know this. Sheen is God tier, okay? Like he's... I forgot about Lucas. It's easy to forget about him. I mean, he basically talks himself into non-existing. It's how Mathis sounded when he went to get Jean. That was way too similar. I knew. Suddenly I knew. Fortunately, no one was hit during the drive, and we quickly found ourselves at the corner of Shadis.
それじゃあ俺はアドルフたちと合流しに路地に入るから君はここで待機しておいて
I'm gonna meet up with Adolphe and the others. You stay here in the car and wait. Right, please be careful. Don't throw up. I quietly looked on as Eves left. The nearby residents looked bewildered by Barreau's unexpected return, and the corpse directed them back inside their homes. That wasn't Barreau. It seems like things were fairly under control, especially considering the urgency of the transmitter message earlier, but in the next instant, a familiar young boy was going against the flow of people and headed into one of the alleys. Isn't he the orphan boy? Yeah. His sister died. Got no parents. In my head, I was thinking Mathis, Sheen, Eves, Adolphe, and Anku. I really forgot about Lucas. Honestly, I forgot about Sheen last time when I was like going like, you know, that we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do... Who am I forgetting? And I was like, oh, it's Sheen! Like, how could I forget Sheen? Oh god. He was with the woman who gets killed by Barreau. Where are you going? Honestly, I think it's because I always think of 5, usually, right? But we have technically Adolphe and Anku sharing. So my brain like goes, I hit 5, I did it. Why do I feel like I'm wrong? And then I'm like, oh. I got out of the car to go chase. The alley was dark and maze-like. Still, I followed the alley, desperately trying to find the boy. He must be trying to find the killer to avenge his sister, because avenging is all we know how to do in this game. I was sure the woman with the black hair who died wouldn't want him to be in any harm either. My dog just barked so loud. It's my sister coming home. We're fine. Trying to find the boy, I walked into an alley that seemed to be empty, or what if it wasn't? Wouldn't that be scarier? A bad feeling turned into a cold sweat that clung to my back and refused to let go. It's all right. I'll be fine. I didn't even realize I had stopped. The sound coming from beyond the corner was something I had heard so many times as death. My throat burned. My brain, thank you. My brain was raising alarms for me to turn back right this instant, but I still hadn't found the person I was looking for. I had to save that boy. It was as if I heard someone whisper that to me. I gathered my courage and turned the corner. Immediately around the corner, my legs bumped into something. It was the boy sitting on the ground, unable to stand. He was all right, but before I could breathe a sigh of relief, a stream of red stained his clothes. The spray of warm liquid was coming from the body of a human that was alive just moments ago. Several organs were spilling from the open stomach of the corpse lying on the ground. And beside it, I saw a shadow. The ghostly shadow shone a small red light through the darkness. And the figure before me that was drenched in red was... They did it! They messed with his mind! It feels so good. Is it Mathis or is it Jean? Why does the sensation of cutting over a woman's stomach feel so good? His voice is so, like, altered. No matter how many times I kill someone, it's never enough. With a look of ecstasy on his face, he held up what he took out of the woman as if it were some sort of treasure. Oh, look, he got a new outfit. He's dressed as Bro, but like in the worst possible way. I want to kill. Kill more women. Their soft stomachs. I want to rip them all open. Yes, just like... the stomach of a pretty girl like you. Yeah, you can't make that look scary. Do I die in this one? That'd be hilarious. Chapter 4.
「読者の君たちに質問だ。これはいかなる物語だと思う？」
What have I done? Oh man, we've been on this for 3 hours, yo. I guess I could have made that an earlier time. We're fine, we're fine. Everything's fine. I have a question to the reader. What sort of story do you think this is? Hmm?
純愛？共愛？それとも救いようのない悲劇か？
One of pure love? Crazed love? Or a tragedy that cannot be saved?
答えはいな。いな。
The answer is none of them.
とある男の勝利の物語だよ。
This is a story of a certain man's victory.
So,
The voice in my mind asked, who? And another inner voice asking, why? Collided with each other and created a gasp too quiet to be a scream. As I stood there in shock, the man in front of me smirked, pulling out a dagger. Held it as he stared at me. I was going to be stabbed, even though I knew that my body was too frozen in place to move. The next thing I heard was the air being cut. Mathis quickly dodged it. The flying blade, or rather a slender sword, stuck the wall behind him and fell to the ground. The flying blade was thrown by Eves. Leah, are you okay? Eves! Eves rushed over, quickly picking up his sword back up and standing in front of me.
彼が配達に街中でこんな堂々と犯行を
Is he the deliverer? I can't believe he's committing his crimes right in the middle of... He couldn't even finish his sentence. Nah, he's not the deliverer. Eves was speechless after looking at the deliverer, the cloaked man in front of him. On the other hand, Mathis's face twisted more and more with each passing moment. Damn it, she looked so nice to tear apart. Now I can't take out that beautiful flower in her stomach. He stomped his foot on the ground like a child and screamed. Mathis. Hearing myself finally, I was able to admit to myself that the person I cherished most in the world committed the horrific crime I saw in front of me. Even though I didn't want to. You're the one who killed the prostitutes? You're the deliverer?
ああ、そうだよ。みんなくだらない噂に騙されてバカだよね。
Yeah, that's right. Everyone was tricked by that idiotic rumor. They're all stupid.
ほら、綺麗だろ？これが僕が集めてるコレクション。女の腹に咲いてるお花だよ。
See? Pretty, aren't they? This is for the collection I'm gathering. These flowers blooming from the bellies of women. He smiled and held up something red and black as if to present it to us. We're gonna see a fetus? You gonna show me a fetus? You gonna show me a fetus, baby?
狙われてるのは妊娠している可能性の高い女性。
The assumption was correct. I felt nausea and hatred building up inside me in response along with despair.
今まで配達人とブローを追うふりをして俺たちを騙していたってこと。
Hear yourself, Eves. Like, just hear yourself. You tricked us all this time and pretended to chase after the deliverer and Barreau?
好きに思いなよ。
Think whatever you want.
どんな結論を出しても、君たちは僕を殺すか捕まえるつもりなんだろう？
No matter what you come up with, you're still going to try and kill and capture me, right? Eves might have assumed talking things through wasn't going to work as he readied his sword again. But it doesn't make sense. That's not the point. It's not supposed to make sense. It's a story. It's an alternate universe story. It's an alternate ending story. This is a what if. What if the main character stayed with Mathis when he started to go on his rampage instead of staying at home and crying? Mathis held up his dagger as well, gazing at Eves as if eyeing his prey. Even though I wasn't used to fighting at all, I still felt that the tension in the air could burst into bloodshed at any moment. Mathis's face turned pale at the sound of several footsteps from around the corner.
増援か。まだ満足していないし、ここで捕まるわけにはいかないな。
They already know that the deliverer wants pregnant women. The way Mathis is talking and acting isn't in line with that at all. Sheen would see through it. I mean, I'm staying by the fireplace now, guy. Why is it so beautiful to see wood burning? I'm gonna go with because fire cleanses everything, but that's the silent hill in me. But also the sound of cackling. I don't know. Maybe there's just peace. There's just peace and destruction. Mathis, how do you feel? Reinforcements. I'm not satisfied. I can't get caught here. Call out to him. Be like, Mathis, snap out of it. My dog just barked. Did I make my dog bark? Or is there a package? I'm expecting a package. In an attempt to flee, Mathis... Oops. In an attempt to flee, Mathis's feet moved towards a separate alleyway. However, right before he could take a step to run off... Wait! I called out to him. The novel! Weren't you going to read the rest of the novel together with me?
何のこと?
What are you talking
僕の
about?
楽しみは女を殺して奪った花を目で飾ることだけ。
The only joy I know is cutting open women and using the flowers I take from them as decoration.
それ以外になんて興味ない。
I have no interest in anything else. Mathis didn't give me an answer. He simply turned away from us in silence.
待て!
Wait! Eves tried to chase after him, but he was too late. Mathis slipped through a small opening in a nearby wall and vanished. I didn't even know how much time had passed since then. Adolph and everyone from the corpse arrived and secured the boy who was sitting on the ground. They brought him to their base, but everyone was speechless at the corpse, with its innards torn out, as well as the identity of the one who committed the act. Of course, I couldn't stay silent about this with someone else.
そんな、確かに身柄を引き取った途端、俺を振り切って逃げ出したので、何事かと思ってはいましたが。
After I retrieved him from detainment, he shook me off and ran. I wonder what on earth could have happened.
坊ちゃんが、
Master.
あの坊ちゃんが配達人なんて。
My master, the deliverer?
絶対にありえません。別の方と見間違えたのでは。
That's impossible. Are you sure it isn't somebody else? Are you sure? You positive it's no one else? Jean denied the claims with all his strength as he struck the guest table, but...
気持ちはわかるが、イブとこいつが犯行の瞬間をはっきりと目撃してる。
I know how you feel, but Eves and Leah saw the scene of the crime clearly.
被害者の体の一部もマティスが持ち去ったみたいだな。
And it seems that Mathis took apart the victim's body with him. Jean's like, I'm so shook by this. I rushed over and supported Jean. He seemed like he was about to fall to his knees.
せめてもの救いは、配達人が本来のマティス本人じゃなく、彼の中にある凶悪な人格ってことぐらいかな。
At the very least, the deliverer isn't Mathis's normal self, but a horrible persona within him. I think so too. Because Mathis honestly believed in the existence of the deliverer in Burrow.
まあ、確かにあの復讐への執着心は演技とは思えねえな。
I have to say, I don't think his obsession with revenge is an act.
つうことは、マティス本人も自分が配達人だとは夢にも思ってないってことか。
If that's the case, Mathis himself couldn't even dream that he would be the deliverer.
それならば、坊ちゃんに罪はありませんよね。
Then the master isn't accountable for the crimes, right? Right? Jean raised his voice as he pleaded.
娼婦を殺したのはあくまで配達人の人格。いつもの坊ちゃんは無実で。
The one who killed the prostitute was his persona as the deliverer. My master, as he normally is, would be innocent, so...
それでも、犯した罪は変わらない。
Even so, it's still a fact that he committed a crime. Adolph spoke in a firm voice in response to Jean's hopeless pleas.
実際に犠牲者が出てる。殺したという明確な証拠がある以上、あいつを無実とするわけにはいかない。
There was a victim. So long as there's a clear evidence that he's the killer, we can't consider himself innocent.
自警団として、捕らえ、相応の罰を下す必要がある。
The corpse has a duty to capture him so that he can be punished accordingly.
だな。それに複数の人格なんて見た目じゃわからねえもの。罪の有無を決める王族や近衛兵には通用しね
え。And you can't tell each persona apart just by looking. The logic wouldn't work against the royal family or the guard.
情状酌量を願い出るのも難しいだろうね。
I imagine asking for extenuating circumstances would be difficult too. That's not the right word. No.
そんな。
I know all too well what Gino's feeling. Why is this happening? This wasn't Mathis. He's normally the most gentle person who just loves stories. I'm gonna be so real with you. You spent like multiple days with him where he's just mean to you. So like, is he? I thought that the only thing that couldn't change, I thought that was the only thing that wouldn't change, even if his personality might get rough at times.
とりあえず、ジョーちゃんもジャンも少し休んだ方がいい。
For now, Leah, Jean, you should get some rest.
特にジョーちゃんはおぞましい光景を近くで見ちまったんだ。
Especially you, Leah. You saw a pretty gruesome sight. I mean, Eves, right? Right, Eves?
そうだね。施設に戻ってシスターサロメにケアしてもらうべきだ。
Should go back to the orphanage and have Sister Salome take care of you. Go see Mama. Right.
なら送ってく。本当なら俺も泊まってやりたいが、まだマティスの捜索があるからな。
I'll take you there. To be honest, I'd like to stay the night too, but I've got to look for Mathis. Thanks, but please don't worry about me. You all have a job you need to do. So that Mathis doesn't commit any further crimes.
お前もあまり思い詰めすぎるなよ。
Don't think about it too much. Mama, in her nightgown, I assume. Adolph brought me to the orphanage. Mother was waiting outside in the garden, worried that I had returned so late. She saw my miserable expression and after preparing some warm milk, listened to what had happened. There she is.
人格の乖離のことは私も多分リュカ先生と同じ記録を読んだことがあるわ。
I see. I'm sure I've read that some records of multiple personalities as Monsieur Proust.
ただ、やっぱりマティス君の件は不自然ね。今までの記憶があったりなかったり。
But Mathis's case seems so unnatural, as though he sometimes does or doesn't have memories of the past. Does that mean his persona as a deliverer is something completely separate from him?
というよりも、なんだか。
Well, more so that.
配達人の人格が突然彼に芽生えたようだわ。あなたと書いた小説の記憶もないようだし。
His deliverer persona appears far more abruptly. It seems like he doesn't have any memories of the novel he wrote with you. That's true. I never felt even a fragment of that persona from Mathis. But as Adolph said, no matter what reasoning anyone might come up with, it's still a fact that Mathis's body committed that crime. If Mathis's original persona comes back to him, what could I possibly say to him? Come on, Salome. Sitting down her own cup of milk, Mother looked straight at me.
ずっと聞こうと思っていたのだけれど。
Leah, I've wanted to ask you this for some time. Yes, go on.
あなたはマティス君のことをどう思って悩んでいるの？
Not this. What do you feel towards Mathis when you're worrying about him?
彼は本当にあなたにとって友達なのかしら？
Really only a friend to you? He's actually less than that to me, if I'm being real. Mathis is my least favorite, even after playing the game. I feel for the boy. But like, well, unable to answer her right away, I looked down at my cup. I thought so until a little while ago. I think it's a bit different now. Mathis always cherished the time he spends with me. Even in his obsession for revenge, each Mathis that showed me his gentle smile. Happy Virche Day! That's right! We'll be eating good once we get through Mathis's story. All are precious to me. I want to be back. I want to get back to my life with him, with them. With them! She admits there's multiple where we just peacefully write stories together. I like the top. Thank you. I did wear this last time. It's not the right shade. And my sleeves, hers are like princess sleeves. Mine's are drapey sleeves. But you know what? It matches the vibe we're going for today. Only one Mathis smiled at her. What is she saying? That's all I wished for. Girl needs to be on an island alone with this guy. I suddenly realized, with this terribly unfamiliar reality put in front of me, as if my heart was broken, tears shed from my eyes. Why is this all happening? Is it because I was the one who came to Mathis as death? Is that why he suddenly has been possessed by some demon?
それだけは絶対にありえないわ。
That, I can say for sure, is not the case. Mother stood up and came around the table. She hugged me as tightly as she could. Ah, Mom, I've missed you so much. I forgive you for killing me that one time.
あなたが私にとって大切な愛娘であるように。
You're a precious daughter of mine.
マティス君にとってのあなたも小説を共に読んでくれる優しい普通の女の子だったはずよ。
I'm sure to Mathis, you were simply a kind, ordinary girl who read novels with him. I wanted to be a pizza night. Pizza night? Oh my god. I was actually craving pizza the other day. I think it's Domino's that has it. They have like ham, but it's like long strips. Does that make sense? Now it's her fault. What is happening? She's blaming herself because that's what she does. I'm sure to Mathis, you were simply a kind, ordinary girl who read novels with him. He called me a monster, Mom. Mother, but...
辛いのはわかる。けれど、あなたのせいじゃない。
I know it hurts, but this isn't your fault.
これはマティス君が自分で向き合わなければならない問題なの。
This is a problem of Mathis's that he needs to face himself.
自分を責めることで、その機会を彼から奪わないであげて。
Mama is too pretty. I just love her colors. I love her. It's a shame they made this your mom and not someone you could date. And she's got like the tattoo right here. Like, girl, like, I love her. I love her so much. Don't take this opportunity away from him by blaming yourself. Don't take this opportunity away from him. Her whole outfit's so I know. I was like, is she gonna be in her pajam-jams or in her nun costume? Please, please. I nodded as I wept as I swept the tears away. That was right. No matter what excuses I made, there's no changing the fact that he committed these terrible acts. Instead of looking away, telling myself that it wasn't Mathis, I have to face him. I'm in love with a murderer. In one night, the deliverer's description was shared throughout the corps and institute security and the royal guard. Wanted notices were put up describing him a murderer who only targeted women. Jean. Hi, Jean. She's the queen, right? She was, yes. She was too radical for the royalty. She wanted to be too kind. And they decided to kill her for it. And Sheen decided to save her and put her in a reliver body, but with a different face, which is also why she sometimes goes a little bit manic from times to times. But that's because he had to do it, because if she looked like herself, the royal family would kill her. Phew. I managed to trick them. So long as the deliverer made an appearance on the stage, I was certain that even Sheen Brophy would stop his investigation of the past and go after Mathis, the deliverer.
研究所を訪
He's
ねた
not
時の記
stupid.
録も今のうちにカプシーヌと支援者がマティスに書き換えてる。
Capuchin and his supporters must be rewriting the visitor logs in the institute now, so it looks like Mathis's
しか
visit.
し架空の配達人としての記憶と人格、そして殺意があそこまで設計通りになるとは。
I'm surprised the memories, persona, and even the bloodthirst of a fabricated deliverer were implemented so well.
やっぱり俺の実験は成功してるな。
I suppose my experiments really have been a success. All I had left to do was carry out the final procedure, once everything settled down.
俺の愛したロザリーが、俺を愛するロザリーが帰ってくる。
Then the Rosalie I love, the Rosalie who loves me, will come back. I'm so happy I could cry. I'd finally been able to fulfill my promise from back then and make her happy. I didn't get a notice. Oh no, did I not post it on here? It says it did. I will.
ありがとう。君も、君から生まれ。
I remember. Don't worry. I remember this. I would make sure she was happy.
身代わりにする必要がなければ。
If only he didn't need to be
用済みにな
sacrificed.
ったあいつを、蘇ったロザリーに紹介ぐらいしてやったんだけどな。
I could have at least introduced him to Rosalie upon her arrival, even though I have no other use for him. Why did I even hesitate? The specimen was meant to be thrown away. Is this Sheen's and Rosalie's happy ending? That would be hilarious. I would laugh.
俺のすべては、ロザリーのためにある。
Everything I do, it's meant for Rosalie. Everything I do it for Rosalie. Nothing else could ever move my heart. Nothing ever. Not even the fact that that person out there that's on a rampage is actually genetically my child. We're not even. Mathis, how you feeling, buddy? Mathis? Wasn't enough. Not enough. It wasn't enough at all.
もっと女を殺したい。
I want to kill more women, but he's not following the right MO, guys. The sensation of cutting through soft flesh, the warmth of an organ taken out of their stomachs, all of it.
たまらなく恋しい。
I need it so badly. My aroused emotions took over my memories. I could remember even now my mother, who was a prostitute, blamed me for the state of her life. And abused me over and over.
せめてあんたがいなければ、私はまだ金を稼ぐことができるのに。
If it wasn't for you, I could still make money.
どうして生まれてきたのよ。どうして私を苦しめるのよ。
Why did you have to be born? Why do I still have to suffer?
死ね、死ね、死んでしまえ。死んで私を楽にしろ。
Die, 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 die so I can be happy again. I didn't know how many times I was hit, yet I still couldn't hate my mother and continued to endure it. As I grew older, my body grew larger. I realized I was a man whose physical strength had surpassed my mother's one day when she came to hit me again. Without hesitation, I killed her with a knife. I didn't care where I stuck, so long as I killed her. And the knife simply happened to sink into her stomach. I felt an excitement in me from the emotion and sensation of that experience, which drove me wild. He's like, a woman's stomach. How good it feels when you cut it open? This is rated T! Wait. At the same time, I felt as if I also saved my mother. She had truly lived a miserable life, crying and screaming. Yet now she was peacefully sleeping. I see. Killing someone is proof of your love for them. I hit auto again by accident. To release these women from the pain of living in a world so cruel to them was to me the purest form of love. And that was how I became the deliverer. After that, I sought those same sensations when I pleased and continued killing prostitutes for 3 years.
けど、自警団に見つかった以上、面倒なことになりそうだ。
There will be trouble now that I've been seen by the corpse.
しばらくは身を隠しつつ、拠点を貧民街にしようかな。
I should hide and maybe keep myself in the slums. As I was thinking, I saw a number of prostitutes enter an
移
alley.
動する前に、ちょっと殺していこうか。
I guess I'll kill a few more before I hide away. Smiling with joy as finding new prey, I moved to go after them. The novel! Weren't you gonna read the novel with me together? Huff, puff, rump rump. For some reason, I didn't have the same urge. Not for that pretty blonde-haired girl.
殺したら楽しそうだと思えない。
I don't think it'd feel as good killing her. This was so strange. It was all fine up until that moment. I knew I felt insurmountable pleasure from tearing into a woman's stomach, but I was so fixated on the woman I wasn't able to kill. I'm going to kill whoever I come across. Huh. Interesting. Well, we're gonna probably just call it here for now, just because I know I can't get much further, and that felt like a good spot to call it for now. I should have stopped streaming 16 minutes ago, but I started late, so I wanted to try and get closer to 4 hours. Anyways. Alright, well, we're gonna see. I don't know if it's always going to be like this when we start these ones, but we are going to do the next Mathis story after this. We're just going to keep it in order. And then if we do the long stream on... who can I raid? Nobody? Nobody I know is on right now. Alright, we're not going to raid anybody right now. Maybe next time. How is it? So far it's interesting. I do like being back in the world. I enjoy this concept of giving us another ending. I will say, because I looked this up because we were getting really confused. Again, I don't read too much. Just to make sure it wasn't just a recap. Because I started thinking, is this just recapping the previous game? Because I own it. I don't need a recap. But they said it has a different ending, and it did after a little bit kind of change. So we did hit a different story part, I guess. So yeah, so far it's not too bad. I mean, we're gonna see how it goes. We haven't actually finished it yet. We got one new CG, so that's exciting. But Mathis isn't the story I was looking the most forward to, so honestly, he can only do so much. The boy can't do too much. He's not the one I want, so we're gonna get there though. And I will be playing again for another 4-ish hours tomorrow, and then there will be a poll. I'm waiting till tomorrow to put the poll up on Discord, because it's going to be a 24-hour poll. And you guys can decide if we're going to play 9 RIP or if we're going to play more Virche tomorrow. So look for that. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, remember you can check me out on Twitch. I stream about 3 times a week. And if you're here in chat today, as a reminder, you guys can visit me on YouTube if you want to remember the fun adventures we had. Thank you, Asia. Thank you, Jade. Thank you, Blue. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Silly. And thank you. There was somebody else here today. Oh no, hang on. I can't remember. Uprasin? I don't know if I've ever actually said your name. I'm so sorry. I hope you guys have a lovely day. I hope you enjoy Virche if you're playing it too. Bye, guys!